TV CFRN, the Toronto Argonauts are in Saskatchewan to take on the Roughriders live from Taylor Field in Regina. Nine days ago, Saskatchewan outlasted the Argos 21-14 in a hard-hitting game in Toronto. Tonight, it's a rematch on the Saskatchewan prairie with the spotlight on the quarterbacks. A veteran coming back from injury and a strong-armed 24-year-old making his first ever CFL start.
I feel pretty good right now. I don't know how I feel when the game gets started. I feel a little jittery, but it's normal. We're going to go out and try to control the ball, control the tempo of the game, and kind of work to our wide receivers a little bit, Elams and Zeno, and we're going to take it from there and see what it gets us.
Well, my knee is fine. Structurally, it's been okay by Dr. Jackson. My lateral movement is somewhat in question. And I guess when a situation presents itself in the game, we'll find out. As far as the Saskatchewan Roughriders, they did a lot of blitzing last week, and we look forward to them doing it again, and we're prepared.
32-year-old Conridge Holloway is a proven 12-year CFL star, but he hasn't played in over 3 weeks. Harold Smith, out of Texas Southern, will have to overcome a bit of a jinx. The Riders haven't won back-to-back games in 12 years. Live from Taylor Field in Regina, the CFL on CTV presents the Toronto Argonauts and the Saskatchewan Roughriders. If you could select the kind of weather you would like for a football game, this is what you would pick. An almost cloudless sky in Regina, 24 degrees with a very light wind at about 7 clicks per hour, and a very short-sleeved crowd moving into the football park to see what should be a very entertaining interleague game between the Argonauts and the Saskatchewan Roughriders. Hi again, everybody. Al McCann greeting you from Regina to watch a game that can see the Argonauts take over first place all to themselves in the East if they win. And the Saskatchewan Roughriders would dearly like to make it 2 in a row over the double blue and take over third spot in the West Division. I think we're in for a very good football game, interesting particularly with Conridge Holloway back in that Toronto lineup. Let's go upstairs for more on the subject from Pat Marsden and Leif Pedersen.
Well, thank you, Al. Hello again, everybody. Leif, this is a game that I'm looking forward to because really coming into it, you could not say one team is better than the other. They played a very close ball game last week in Toronto. Saskatchewan won it by 7 points. They've both won 2 and lost 2 on the season. Toronto gets Conridge Holloway back, but he needs somebody to throw the football to. And fortunately for him and the Argos, 85 is back.
Yeah, he's got his big gunner back in the lineup tonight. And we're talking, of course, about number 85, Chris Woods. And not only a great deep threat as a pass receiver, he's also a great punt returner, and time after time gives his offense great field position. Second in the CFL, only to Darnell Clash, and if you watched our game last night, you can see how important the punt returning aspect really is.
You know, it's strange, though. The Saskatchewan Roughriders have really gotten to where they are right now through defense. They've had a lot of problems offensively, yet they come into a ball game tonight against Toronto, and what do they add? They add another linebacker.
And they added a great one. Number 58, Gary Moten, who they obtained in a trade last year from the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, will be back at that middle linebacking spot. And if you saw their game last week, the key to their success was to blitz and blitz and blitz. Gary Moten's the best blitzing linebacker that they have, and no secret, there's a couple of changes Al McCann's going to tell you about in a minute, but the Argonauts are hurting on the offensive line, so no secret they're going to come with that blitz.
Yeah, I really don't think that we're going to see much of an offensive performance tonight, but I do suspect that we're going to see a very close football game because both teams are good defensively.
Well, they are good defensively, and every time we make a prediction like that, you know, you get a 30-28 score, but...
Well, we'll see what happens. Al, that's the way we look at it from up here.
Well, okay, Pat, kind of interesting, too. I think these two clubs have a bit of an axe to grind. Talking to Freddie Dunbar, the trainer of the Argonauts, he had 18 different injuries in last week's game, and now he says they've got bad luck tonight because their starting offensive tackle, Kevin Prunster, number 66, was at the park but had to go back to the hotel with suspected pneumonia. So that's not a very good start for Obi's crew tonight, but believe me, they'll be up for it. If they get a good performance from Conridge, it should be one heck of a football game. I'm looking forward to it. This is the CFL on CTV. We're back in a moment.
great name in beer should be the start of a truly great-tasting light beer. But it took more than a heritage of taste. It took time to get it just right. Now it's here, introducing OV Light. With the great OV taste you'd expect from a fine brewing tradition.
The best laid plans of mice and men. We told you about Harold Smith starting. I just talked to Coach Jack Goda. He said he's made a change of his mind. He's going to go with Bernard Quarles as his starting quarterback tonight. And actually, he will use Harold Smith as his backup. Joe Powell still having a bit of an injury problem. Now, let's go to the anthem.
On a beautiful night here in Regina, Saskatchewan, you take a look at the man who will call the shots. Bill McDonald from St. Albert, Alberta, will be the referee, and they're the people who will work underneath him. The Toronto Argonauts are really in trouble tonight on that offensive line. And I know that Conrad Holloway is concerned, is he not, Lee?
Well, Connie and I had a talk before the game, and, you know, they've really struggled on that offensive line all season. They've given up 30 quarterback sacks, which is way above what they should be at this point. The next closest team only has given up 19. So that is a sore spot with there, and now even sore with Kelvin Prunster out of the lineup. It appears as though Dan Petchnick will move to that left tackle, and Jeff Arp, who they did not want to start tonight, will have to move into that right guard spot.
The Saskatchewan Roughriders will be receiving the opening kickoff. Michael Arms, number 80, and Derek Zeno, number 8, back in the lineup after a training camp injury, will await the kickoff from Hank Elisic. Hank, of course, doesn't kick field goals for Toronto anymore, but he does perform the kickoff duties, and he does it well. He is second in the league in average kickoff, 61 yards. But this one is not as deep as he might have liked, as Alarms camps under it at the 13. And he picks his way out over the 35 to about the 36-yard line, which is where the Saskatchewan Roughriders will put it into play. 22 yards on that return. As you see Bernard Quarles starting at quarterback, I just can't believe that you can go all week in practice and suggest that one quarterback is going to start, and then you come 5 minutes before the game and start the other one. Unless that was the plan to throw Toronto off guard. Who knows? But in any event, Bernard Quarles, the veteran from the University of Hawaii, is at the controls for Saskatchewan. Quarles with a good run has a first down for the Roughriders as he gets to the 49-yard line before Carl Brazeley, number 2, is there to bring him down. The pickup is 13 yards.
Well, Pat, this could be the reason right off the bat why he elected to go with Bernard Quarles. We all know, if we've seen him throughout his career in the CFL, he can really run with the football. His passing game a little suspect, but maybe Jack Goda decided, well, I'm just going to let this guy go in, roll him out, and run and see what happens.
Quarles, formerly with Calgary and Ottawa, has Saskatchewan with a first down at their 49-yard line. And the handoff goes to Bobby Johnson, number 26, but he runs right into Brad Foytik, number 64, the right defensive tackle.
An all-Canadian line employed by the Saskatchewan Roughriders. Old teammate of mine, Laurie Skullroot, still alive and kicking at that left tackle spot, originally a tight end when we were rookies together. That's the group that they're going to have to protect Bernard Quarles from.
And there is no doubt that the strength of both these teams is defense. And we'll get into that a little more later on as Saskatchewan has a 2nd and 10 from their 49. Quarles' pass is caught on a diving attempt by Derek Zeno. And they rule that it is a valid catch at the Toronto 51-yard line. Argo's Darrell Wilson is not too happy about the decision. Nevertheless, Saskatchewan appears to be a yard short of the first down.
I guarantee you, Jack Goda gave the referee a lot of assistance on the sidelines in making that call, but Derek Zeno did a great job. Very tough to see. The referee kind of blocks the vision where the Derek Zeno's foot touched down there, but he was right on the spot and made the call. In fact, he was right on the ground close.
Leaf, that's a judicious decision when you're standing right on their sideline.
Yeah, that's not a great place to be.
It's 3rd down and a yard to go, and the Roughriders are going to gamble at the Toronto 52-yard line. Toss deep in the backfield to Bobby Johnson. And that's what they were hoping for. They hoped that he could get to the outside because Johnson's got speed. As a matter of fact, he scored a touchdown against the Argos last week. And this time, on 3rd and 1, he picks up 26 yards.
Well, on 3rd and 1, it's a play I don't really like too much. That pitch to the outside, you have to give up so much ground, but they really sealed off the outside well, the Saskatchewan offensive line, and a nice cut by Bobby Johnson by Jerry Nash. And what a big play on a 3rd down gamble.
Well, you hope to get to the outside, and you hope for a missed tackle, and that's exactly what happened. It is 1st down Saskatchewan at the Toronto 27-yard line. Quarles' pass is caught. And that'll be another 1st down as Carl Brazeley forces the receiver, Michael Arms, out of bounds inside the 10-yard line.
Well, I like that call on 1st down. Carl Brazeley in coverage slips a little bit trying to stay with Michael Alarms and can't get there to make the play. Nevertheless, an excellent 1st down call by Bernard Quarles.
Matter of fact, the gain was 16 yards, and they spotted outside the 10 at the 11-yard line. So Saskatchewan can get a 1st down without scoring the touchdown. Quarles pass to the end zone. Touchdown. Saskatchewan number 81, Ray Elgard. Offside, however, may be the call against the Jolly Green Giants.
Yeah, it's going to come back, Pat. I'm sure Tony Dennis, number 88, jumped offside, and we're going to see Ray Elgard make a great catch in the end zone. Nice concentration to get this ball, but all for naught. This will not thrill the fans here in Regina, but Tony Dennis and Ray Elgard have a bad habit of taking that running start to try and get a little jump, and that time Tony Dennis way offside.
Well, you couldn't hear it, but it was a procedure call against the Saskatchewan Roughriders, so it'll be 1st and 15. Good break for the Argonauts. Tough one for Saskatchewan. The ball now rests at the Toronto 16-yard line. Quarles could not find anyone open, and then is finally forced out by Darrell Wilson, number 13, and Willie Pless, 32, after picking up about 5 yards.
There's Willie Pless, the much heralded rookie, has 2 interceptions already this season and really lived up to his expectations. Pretty good secondary. You always kind of look at the strengths, and it's got to be on the corner. They've got 2 good ones in Marcellus Green and Carl Brazeley.
Jerry Nash, who's in his 2nd year in the CFL from the University of Alberta, number 18, has had his in and out games. The Argos are really going to keep an eye on him tonight to see if he can perform at that safety spot. Quarles drills it into the end zone. Touchdown, Derek Zeno.
What a great catch by Derek Zeno. He's working one-on-one with Marcellus Green. He drives him deep into the end zone, works back to the quarterback, and he goes up high and just simply outfights Marcellus Green for the football. And that was a beautiful drive engineered by Bernard Quarles.
A great drive, a sensational catch, and they held the ball for 3 minutes and 41 seconds as Dave Ridgway's point after is good. The fans at Taylor Field in Saskatchewan are happy, so they should be. It is Saskatchewan 7, Toronto nothing. We'll be back in a moment.
Lean on me when you're not strong, and I'll be your friend. I'll help you carry on, for it won't be long till you're gonna need somebody to lean on.
Chevy, the trucks you can lean on. Way to go, Chevy.
Craig Ellis, number 23, and number 30, Jeff Townsend, are back deep to receive this kickoff from the Saskatchewan Roughriders as Bob Obilovich looks on from the Toronto sideline, hoping that his offense will be able to respond to the Saskatchewan touchdown. This will be Ellis from his 16-yard line. And he dives his way out over the 40 to the 41, so the Argonauts are at least going to start in half-decent field position as Ray Elgard, number 81, was down to make the stop for Saskatchewan. 58-yard kickoff, a 24-yard return, and there is the way that Toronto will line up.
Darrell Smith also in the lineup at that inside receiving spot, replacing Steve Cox. Paul Pearson could have a big night, too, because you've got to hit your inside receivers quickly if they're really going to blitz a lot.
Holloway's first pass is complete, and it goes to Craig Ellis for a pickup of about 6 yards. Eddie Lowe got over there just a little bit late. That's a tough task for the linebacker on the back coming out of that backfield.
Well, there you see the changes that had to be made at the last minute with Kelvin Prinster out of the lineup and in the sore spot. That's the group that they're going to have to protect against, and they had a great game last week in Toronto.
It's second down and 4 yards to go. Argos, the ball is at the 47-yard line. On the draw, they give to Bob Brock, and he does not get the first down. As a matter of fact, let's make it Craig Ellis. Gary Lewis was there to make the stop, number 79. The sophomore from Oklahoma State, a fine, outstanding defensive lineman. He lines up at that left tackle spot. And on 3rd and 1 at their own 49-yard line, the Argos will not go for it.
Well, 3 former Ottawa Roughriders that the Saskatchewan Roughriders traded for, figuring prominently early in the first quarter. Gary Lewis, Derek Zeno, and Bernard Quarles all came over in that big trade.
And Derek Zeno right now has dropped back along with Fran McDermott to receive this punt from Hank Elisic. And he sends a rocket into the Saskatchewan end zone. McDermott just makes a dive for it to make sure that Zeno wasn't going to take it out of there because he was more than willing to concede the single point. A 66-yard boot for the league's leading punter, Hank Elisic, and Toronto hits the scoreboard with 10 minutes and 6 seconds left to play in this opening quarter.
He really has played well for the Argonauts. In fact, I think he's been directly responsible for their 2 wins this year with his punting in Montreal, and of course their opening win over Hamilton, 48.9, the league leader.
And there's a look at the man who engineered the touchdown drive, Bernard Quarles, as the Roughriders start from their 35-yard line. The give is to Denny Ferdinand. And the Canadian running back, formerly with Montreal, gets out over the 45 to the 46.5-yard line, and that should be a first down.
Denny Ferdinand, a back that, Pat, you and I have always liked throughout his career when he was with the old Montreal Concords, now with the Saskatchewan Roughriders, and tough, hard runner.
So Saskatchewan has had little trouble moving the football against the Argos. Their initial drive ended up in the end zone, and as a result, it's a 7-1 ball game for Saskatchewan, who now have a first down at their 47-yard line. Toss goes to Bobby Johnson. And he is inside Toronto territory at the 49-yard line. It's another first down before Marcellus Green forces him out, but not before Bobby Johnson picks up 13 yards.
Well, let's watch the pulling guards. Quilter and All Day come flying around the corner. A little help from Laurie Stolrud, and it doesn't take a great deal to get the fleet-footed Bobby Johnson to the outside. That's a great running play. Darrell Wilson got into the backfield quickly, but just couldn't make the play.
6 feet, 190 pounds from San Jose State University, Bobby Johnson.
Got those fast feet, you know, that's what you want in those little jitterbug running backs.
Ball pass in and out of the arms of Mike Alarms, with Marcellus Green providing the defensive coverage, a ball that should have been caught.
Marcellus Green in his 5th year from Arizona tried his luck in the National Football League, then came back to Toronto. A couple of interceptions so far this year. Might have had his 3rd right there.
So it brings up a 2nd and 10 for Saskatchewan. The ball is actually spotted right at the Toronto 50-yard line. We're just nicely underway here in the first quarter. 8 minutes, 30 seconds left to play. Good job by Bernard Quarles. Well, you can't expect to get away forever. And Willie Pless finally makes the sack on the Saskatchewan quarterback, but he had initially evaded Rodney Harding and then got away from Mark Seal, too. Ends up losing 6 yards.
Darrell Goodlow had a great shot at him there, but just couldn't bring him down. And, well, I tell you, Bernard Quarles is making Jack Oda look like a genius for starting him tonight, because it's been that running ability that really got things going for them.
Jerry McGrath, number 3, drops back to punt for Saskatchewan, and there's no question that McGrath's job is on the line, too. He's averaging less than 40 yards a punt. Mike McTagg is now in camp, so we'll see what happens. And this is Chris Woods. Woods is forced out of bounds as he gets to the 25-yard line, so that's where the Argos are going to put it into play. It was a 43-yard boot by McGrath, an 11-yard return. Saskatchewan leads Toronto 7-1, and we'll be back in a moment.
You know, people are always making up stories about big guys like me. Like I change flat tires by lifting up my car, or eat 2 steaks and a dozen eggs for breakfast. Come on. But there is one thing I'm very big on, Miller Lite. Light tastes great. And what's important, it tastes less filling than regular beer. But a dozen eggs? I wouldn't have room for lunch.
Light beer from Miller. Everything you always wanted in a beer, and less.
And hey, I've never lifted a car. I drive a truck.
Many cars try to be both a family car and a road car. You are looking at the one that has distinguished itself from a crowd of pretenders. Pontiac 6000. It wins the ultimate test. More people choose the Pontiac 6000 than any other mid-size car in Canada. Pontiac builds excitement. Now, GM is offering air conditioning at no extra cost on specially equipped models of the Pontiac 6000.
Number 44, Roger Aldag. Would you believe this is his 149th consecutive game? He now officially is the Iron Man of the Canadian Football League, and quite an offensive lineman too, Pat.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Did you not play with Roger Aldag?
I sure did. I played with Roger, a veteran of the Saskatchewan Roughriders. Came up from the Regina Junior Rams. Not that big, but you ask any defensive tackle in the league, they say he's awfully tough.
The Toronto Argonauts are in tough tonight. They have a first down from their 23-yard line. Holloway pump fake and then drills it complete to Darrell Smith for his first catch of the season. And number 74 gives Toronto its initial first down, picking up 19 yards. Darrell Smith is in the ball game, of course, because Steve Cox was hurt last week.
The little pump fake to freeze the linebackers, and then Conrad throws a nice pass over the middle to Darrell Smith. Had some NFL experience with the Cincinnati Bengals, originally drafted 1984 by the Dallas Cowboys. Not good news having Chris Woods out of the lineup, though.
Craig Ellis is the ball carrier, and boy, he did a masterful job to get back to the line of scrimmage and maybe actually pick up a couple. Gary Lewis was there to make the tackle for Saskatchewan.
There's a linebacking core that's going to get a real workout tonight. They blitzed a lot last week, and we expect to see that tonight. Gary Moten in the middle. We featured him in our opening. A couple of rookies on the corner, Mike Magruder and Trent Bryant, but they haven't looked out of place at all.
It's second down, 8 yards to go. Toronto, the ball now is just inside their 45-yard line. A direct snap to Holloway. And his pass was batted down at the line of scrimmage. It was Gary Moten, the middle linebacker, got his hands in the air as Holloway took the direct snap.
Well, there's no secret to the philosophy defensively for Saskatchewan. They're coming with everybody. There's 58, Gary Moten, in the middle of your screen. Now, they do a good job of picking him up. But he gets the big hands up and knocks it down. Jeff Arp, the right guard, making the block, but, of course, he can't hold his arms down.
Moten is deceptive. He appears much taller than he is. He's listed at 6'1", yet the way he went up there looked like he was about 6'6". Flag is down as Derek Zeno prepares to pick up this punt. The ball bounces back towards the Argos. Another flag comes down, and we'll wait for the penalties to be clarified here. That ball bounced back toward the Argonauts, and of course the new rule this year signifies that if the team that is covering the punt is trying to get out of the way, then there would be no yards penalty.
That's a legal substitution.
Yeah, and there's no yards, so they didn't apply the new rule.
You see at the bottom right of your screen, the referee throws the flag even before the ball is kicked, and that is to indicate a legal substitution. Somebody, Derek Zeno or one of the punt returners, maybe came on the field too late. Once the referee on the sideline puts his arms up, no more players can enter the game.
We'll wait until they sort this one out. The illegal substitution, of course, is against Saskatchewan. The no yards penalty was signaled against Toronto. And we'll see if referee Bill McDonald's mic will work a little better than it did last time. I remember we were in here one night, we got taxi calls and everything else on the referee's mic.
I think he's got that a little backwards.
Yeah. Well,
too many men, Saskatchewan, no yards against Toronto, but I think we all had that figured out. We see George Brancato beside Jack Goda. George, of course, former head coach of the Ottawa Roughriders for so many years.
Another rocket by Hank Elisic. Zeno is back to his 3-yard line. And he's buried as he crosses the 15 to about the 18. So Saskatchewan, for the first time, going to start deep in their own territory. It was a 48-yard boot, which is his seasonal average by Hank Elisic. A 16-yard return by Derek Zeno.
How'd you like to be number 75, Steve Delco, the center? Watch him just get cranked there. But he's actually going to do the snap, take a good shot in the head, and come down and make the tackle. Life on the special teams is great, isn't it? It's like losing a bet playing that.
It's first down, Saskatchewan. The ball is at their 18. Bernard Quarles was the surprise starter at quarterback for Saskatchewan this evening. He fires it over the middle, and it is complete to Bobby Johnson, and Johnson gets out to the 25, 26-yard line before Willie Pless, the rookie from Kansas, is there to bring him down.
Well, Bobby Johnson's only had 11 receptions so far in 4 games, but he's averaged 7.5 yards a catch, and that's an excellent average for a running back. Just sneaks in over the middle, makes the catch, and picks up close to 9 yards. Great first down call. See, that's the difference with a quarterback like Bernard Quarles. He's making good first down calls. We saw Ken Hobart last night, who doesn't have experience, just really never had the good first down plays.
This is Denny Ferdinand, and Ferdinand picks up the Saskatchewan first down. You've got to be impressed with what the Roughriders are doing offensively. Brad Foytik, number 64, the newcomer from Florida State, made the tackle for Toronto, but Saskatchewan is executing their game plan well. Nothing very fancy about that, just a straight-off tackle hit by Denny Ferdinand for the first down, and Saskatchewan has possession now at their 31-yard line. We've got 4 minutes and 10 seconds left to play in the opening quarter. Roughriders in front of the Argonauts, 7-1. Quarles stumbled moving back there, sets up well low, and he fires complete again to Bobby Johnson, and he'll pick up 4 or 5 yards once again. That was a very good display of smarts by Bernard Quarles because he had a lot of trouble getting back to set up.
Well, he's really showing a lot of poise here in the first quarter. Good balance to stay upright, but he's just using the old expression, taking what they give him. He's not trying to go too deep. If he's got a guy open underneath as Bobby Johnson comes out into the flat area, he's going to take that because he knows it's at least a good solid 5 yards.
The ball is right at the Saskatchewan 35. Quarles' pass is complete to Ray Elgard. Elgard is at the 52-yard line. Saskatchewan will have another first down. 18 yards to pick up. Darrell Wilson made sure Elgard didn't get up. But again, good play selection, finding the open man by Bernard Quarles.
On an excellent read by both Bernard Quarles and Ray Elgard. Elgard found the hole in the second down zone coverage. Look where he sits, right in between all those defensive players. And Bernard Quarles threw it to the open spot. It's great passing catch.
First down, Saskatchewan, the ball at their 53. Quarles pass, again complete to Elgard, and he's very close to yet another Saskatchewan first down. Dennis Clay, number 14, the 3-year veteran from the University of Oregon, was there to make the stop.
Well, Pat, they're using a great key. You see Bobby Johnson go hard out to the right side. Well, that pulls Willie Fletch, the linebacker, right out of there. Now there's an open area for Ray Elgard to get into, and once again, another good play on first down.
Well, strangely enough, as you take a look at the Saskatchewan offensive dominance so far in this ballgame, the Saskatchewan Roughriders, who missed the playoffs for the 9th straight time last year, were 2-2 at this point in 1985, which is their identical record to this one.
Pat, it looks to me like they're running the signals on each play in with the running backs, which is unusual. Denny Ferdinand and David Conrad have alternated on every play in this series.
They're the fastest runners.
Quarles' pass is complete to Derek Zeno, and Zeno gets down to the Toronto 35.5 before Marcellus Green forces him out, but it's a pickup of 13 yards. Move the sticks again for Saskatchewan. 9 first down.
And, you know, I doubt that Bernard Quarles has thrown a pass tonight over about 12 yards, except for the touchdown to Elgard that was called back, and he's just picking first downs. He's picking that defense apart.
First down, Saskatchewan, the ball at the Toronto 35. And this is David Conrad. Conrad fights his way for 2 or 3 just to keep that defense honest. They run the fullback in there, and he picks up, well, it's a tough 3 if that's all it is. Rodney Harding, Mark Seal, David Marshall, all in on the stop.
David Conrad in his second year from Acadia University, primarily a blocking back, as most of the Canadian big fullbacks are in the CFL. He's only had 9 carries coming into this game, but even though they didn't pick up a great deal of yards, it's still a good play to try and keep that offense or defensive front 4 off balance.
The injured Toronto Argonaut is Mark Seal, the former Ottawa Rough Rider. Mark's the guy that'll give you everything he's got, but obviously has been winded a little bit. And since he is, let's take a break here with Saskatchewan leading 7-1 and driving. We'll be back in a moment.
Microwave oven for the crazy price of $2.88. Check Turtle and Sunboard details on our Truckload Crazy Sale. Only at Crazy.
When things you take for granted stop working, it can really ruin your day. We've built our reputation on service to keep our products, from data terminals to office communication systems, running smoothly. When things just don't work properly, someone's reputation is at stake. We know, because at Edmonton Telephone, our reputation is always on the line.
Defensively, the best quarter for the Argonauts all season long has been the first quarter. When Saskatchewan scored against them last week, it was the first time in 1986 that a team had scored a touchdown against Toronto in the first quarter. This week, Saskatchewan is just running all over them. And why not? Bernard Quarles is 8 out of 9 for 87 yards so far, and of course the touchdown pass to Derek Zeno. Right now, he faces a 2nd and 6 with the ball at the Toronto 32-yard line. Nothing fancy, just fires it to Elgard. He has another first down inside the Toronto 20 to the 18. Pitch and catch for Bernard Quarles and all of his receivers so far tonight.
Well, Ray Elgard's doing an excellent job on second down situations of reading the zone there. He just sits in the open spot in between Marcellus Green and Darrell Wilson. That's an easy catch and an easy read and throw for Bernard Quarles. Boy, this is just like practice.
6 in a row. That's Bernard Quarles in passing, and 9 out of 10 so far, as he has the first down at the Toronto 19-yard line. This time, though, the Argos bring a little bit of heat. Darrell Goodlow, the right defensive end, number 78, was right in his face the moment he went to set up, and it's a big loss back outside the 25.
Well, they come with the blitz, and the right tackle, Vic Stevenson's got to make a choice. And Neil Quilter, and they don't pick the right guys. Darrell Goodlow gets in, and that's a big sack.
It's an 8-yard loss and forces Saskatchewan back to the Toronto 26-yard line. It'll be 2nd and 18. And we're down to the final 10 seconds of this opening quarter. Big play now for Toronto defensively. They want to keep Saskatchewan out of the end zone. Quarles fires it a long way, and the grab is made by Alarms, but to no avail, really, because he's forced out at the 17-yard line. Now, I mean, that'll look good on everybody's stat sheet, but it's not going to accomplish anything because they still have to try the field goal.
Boy, I agree with you. Take a shot at the end zone. You know, like a safe one maybe, but take a shot.
So at the end of the first quarter, it is Saskatchewan 7, Toronto 1. We'll return with the second quarter in a moment.
Can your motor oil survive the punishment today's engines dish out? Circulating it twice as fast, working it twice as hard, breaking it down.
Better than fixed. It's AMCO.
Now, during AMCO's 13th anniversary event, enjoy big savings on all inspection and repair services. Stop by for a free multi-check. It could save you from a large repair bill down the road.
By Dave Ridgway is good, and with those 3 points, Ridgway has now overtaken former Toronto Argonaut Dick Shadow and has moved into 21st place on the CFL's all-time scoring derby. So congratulations to him. You know, when you wonder about the domination of this football game, let me pass along the time of possession. Saskatchewan has had the ball 11 minutes, 3 seconds. Toronto, 3 minutes and 57 seconds. Saskatchewan has had 22 plays from scrimmage, Toronto only 7. And as a result, Saskatchewan is comfortably in front 10-1 as we begin play here in the second quarter. Holloway's pass is complete to Darrell Smith. There is a penalty marker down on the field. Glenn Suter and Billy Jackson combined on the tackle. Well, again, we've got a substitution infraction by the Saskatchewan Roughriders, so the decision is now up to Conrad Holloway. Do you want the gain, which would have been about 7 yards, or do you want the penalty, which will be 10? I guess it's not that hard to figure out what he'll do.
I don't think so. Saw 172 yards in total offense for the Saskatchewan Roughriders in that first quarter. That's a great quarter.
Norman Gibbs, number 9, and number 10 beside him, Jeff Jocelyn, are the backup quarterbacks to Conrad Holloway. But as long as Holloway is healthy, he'll be in this ball game. He fires complete, but was the intended receiver out of bounds? No, they say it was a good catch by number 23 of the Toronto Argonauts, their running back, Craig Ellis.
Little pick play they ran. Craig Ellis breaking to the outside, and receiver picks off the Fran McDermott on the inside. Now, they didn't get called for it. We saw that call made in Hamilton last night for the illegal pick. No question of that, but they got away with it. 9 good yards, and
a little better field position, too. Second down, a yard to go. And the toss goes to Ellis. But, boy, there was good penetration by Gary Moulton, the middle linebacker. And this is going to be very close.
Well, you get in those 2nd and 1 kind of situations with a 4-man line, and it's your middle linebacker that's the guy you want to make all the plays. He gets a chance to get a quick read and scrape off and make the tackle.
He is short of the first down. It's 3rd and inches, and the Argos are going to go for it. The ball is at their 54-yard line. The simple as this: if you can't make inches in the Canadian Football League with the defense a yard away from the ball, then you may as well turn it over. Holloway keeps it himself and crosses midfield for the Toronto first down.
A little surprised they didn't have a short yardage type offense in there on a 3rd down gamble, but didn't really matter. Connor Holloway able to pick it up with a sneak in behind his center, the veteran Willie Thomas, and the left guard Dan Ferroni. Boy, if I was the quarterback, those are the 2 guys I'd run behind.
Well, the Argos, trailing 10-1, would like to get back into this football game by sustaining this drive and picking up at least a field goal. Let's see what they can do as the ball is spotted right at midfield. Holloway fired it out of bounds. The penalty marker comes down. We're going to have rough play against Saskatchewan. Eddie Lowe with the late hit on the Toronto quarterback.
Well, you're going to get a great look at it here. Holloway really desperate, trying to get out of the pocket and find somebody open. Lets the ball go, and Eddie Lowe just continues through, makes the hit, and the referees have got to protect those quarterbacks. I like the call.
Well, you may like the call, but the 19,000 Saskatchewan fans don't.
I don't care. You've got to protect those quarterbacks to keep the product level up in the CFL.
Well, then, you know what? They better institute a rule that you can't touch them, because he got there the moment he released the football. It's first down, Toronto. The ball is at the Saskatchewan 40. Holloway. Oh, and what a defensive play by number 17, Trent Bryant, the rookie from Arkansas. Chris Woods was there, but Bryant went high in the air to knock it away.
He really does make an outstanding play, and times it perfectly just to come over the top of Chris Woods. It was a good throw right on target. And, oh, what an outstanding defensive play that was.
Woods could just smell that end zone as he went high in the air, but Bryant with a great play. So it's 2nd and 10, Toronto. And now in the shotgun is Holloway. Fires, and a tremendous effort by Kirtland Thomas, but he couldn't hang on because Mike Magruder, the rookie cornerback on the other side from Trent Bryant, number 28, went up and really put a good hit on him.
Well, I said earlier they had 2 rookies playing the corners, and they did not look out of place. Both of them get a chance to make great plays on that last series in the Toronto Argonauts. Mike Magruder, an excellent, perfectly timed hit to knock the ball loose.
So we played 3 minutes of the second quarter, and the Saskatchewan defense turns Toronto back. And so we will have Hank Olisic in the ball game.
Kind of surprised Lance Chomick doesn't get a chance for field goal. It'll be 47 yards.
Couldn't agree with you. More. Olisic angles it out of bounds. Now let's see where they rule it went. Moving the official up right about the 6-yard line. So Olisic will be pleased with that. They weren't looking for a single point. They were looking to hem Saskatchewan in. Roughriders lead it 10-1. We'll be back in a moment.
If you're a young Canadian thinking about where you're going, you're beginning to see the obstacles. The high cost of university, the difficulty of learning a high-tech trade. Think about the Canadian Armed Forces. We need you. We'll help you get a degree or learn a skill and guarantee you a job. Visit a recruiting center and talk to us. It's your choice, your future. The Canadian Armed Forces.
We know what kills your muffler. It's rust. Moisture inside your muffler can rust it from the inside out. The revolutionary Walker Advantage muffler with Absorbite fights the deadly effects of internal moisture. Look at these test results. An ordinary muffler, the Walker Advantage with Absorbite. You don't need this. Take the Advantage. It puts rust at a disadvantage.
Available where you see this sign.
Cadrex Holloway was injured in the opening game of the season against the Montreal Alouettes. He makes his return tonight, but so far Saskatchewan has denied him. So So the Roughriders start from the 6-yard line. Bernard Quarles has been absolutely outstanding so far this ball game. This is Bobby Johnson. And Johnson doesn't get too much. Maybe back to the line of scrimmage. Willie Pless just knifed in there to make the stop.
Well, let's have a look at Willie. And he's playing that right side. He's got to come all the way across the field. Watch the acceleration through the hole. Reads the play and puts a pretty good lick on Bobby Johnson.
Kenny Ferdinand goes into the ball game, and David Conrad comes out. As Al McCann pointed out to you earlier, that's how Jack Goda is running those plays into the ball game. Sidelines calling the action for the Saskatchewan quarterback. It's second down, 9 yards to go, Saskatchewan. And Quarles throws the screen to Ferdinand. And this is why Leaf and I have suggested that he was a favorite of ours. He just keeps those legs pumping, gets out to the 35-yard line for a gain of 28 before finally Carl Braisley brought him down.
You know, he got a couple of blocks early, but really this is all Kenny Ferdinand on his own. He set it up. There he gets by Darrell Goodlow. And he's going to high step it. I like that high stepping action. And watch him run over number 18, Jerry Nash. He just kind of pushes him. A little fly got the underside here and keeps going. What a great run.
Now Saskatchewan has some room to operate. The ball is outside their 35-yard line. Quarles swings it up. This is Bobby Johnson. And Johnson is tripped up by Carl Braisley as he crosses the 40 to the 41-yard line. But again, that's a solid 5-yard pickup.
That sure is. And they're really showing a wide variety of offense tonight. A little swing screen that time to Bobby Johnson. Big 62, Vic Stevenson, the right tackle, gets out, gets the block. But they're really keeping that Toronto defense off balance. A screen, a little swing pass, and he goes downfield to Ray Elgard. Nice-looking offense.
At halftime, we will meet the Italians in the CFL this week. Craig Ellis is not one of them. But we'll have lots more for you at halftime. Well, you talk about the determination of the Saskatchewan Roughrider offense. You're seeing it right now. The run by Bobby Johnson gives them a first down. Willie Pless was there to make the stop.
You know what I couldn't believe, Pat, is when Al McCann told us in the opening that Saskatchewan had not won back-to-back games in 12 years. I couldn't believe it.
And you know, the surprising thing is they've always been tough at Taylor Field, yet Toronto has beaten them the last 4 times here. Well, they're on the move once again with 8 minutes and 50 seconds left to play in the first half. Saskatchewan leads Toronto 10-1. Roughriders have really been impressive so far. Argos have not. Now here's a reverse to alarms. Well, let's give Toronto lots of credit on that one because it was Darrell Wilson who stayed home, read the play, and made the stop on what could have been a big, big play for Saskatchewan, but turns out to be only a pickup of about 2 or 3.
Okay, watch Bernard Quarles. He's going to lead this play around the corner along with Roger Aldeck. Now, he tries to block 32 Willie Pless, and Willie just says, are you kidding me? Gets rid of him, and along with Darrell Wilson makes the tackle.
So let's say that the pickup was 3 yards, make it 2nd and 7. Saskatchewan, the ball at their own 51. Quarles sets up, throws to alarms, but the ball is jarred out of his hands by Carl Braisley. It wouldn't have been a first down anyway.
Well, Carl Braisley, you can't fool this guy. He's been around for 7 years. He reads it so quickly and comes up, and that's just like a free shot in Michael Elar's. He says, I'm going to unload on this guy, make him pay the price if he catches it. He couldn't hang on anyway.
The man who coaches the defensive secondary for Toronto, Dennis Meyer, I asked him before the ball game, I said, who's been the best? He said, are you serious? I said, yeah. He said, Carl Braisley by far.
You know, Dennis Meyer, I played against him when he played for Calgary, and you talk about a hitter. He was one of the best himself.
On the punt return, this is Kirkland Thomas. And Thomas goes nowhere as that cover team of the Saskatchewan Roughriders, led by Ray Elgart, was there to drop him as he got to the 15-yard line. A 50-yard boot, a 7-yard return. Saskatchewan leads it 10-1. We'll be back in just a moment.
Many cars try to be both a family car and a road car. You are looking at the one that has distinguished itself from a crowd of pretenders. Pontiac 6000. It wins the ultimate test. more people choose the Pontiac 6000 than any other mid-size car in Canada. Pontiac builds excitement. Now, GM is offering air conditioning at no extra cost on specially equipped models of the Pontiac 6000.
If you're a young Canadian thinking about where you're going, you're beginning to see the obstacles. The high cost of university, the difficulty of learning a high-tech trade. Think about the Canadian Armed Forces. We need you. We'll help you get a degree or learn a skill and guarantee you a job. Visit a recruiting center and talk to us. It's your choice, your future. The Canadian Armed Forces.
Well, CTV's Friday Night Football next week will emanate from Edmonton. We'll be there for the Eskimos against the Toronto Argonauts. And I know one guy who's watching this game with much interest is Eskimo coach Jack Parker, who with his team having the bye took a couple of days to get a medical checkup. We understand he got a clean bill of health. He's on the golf course today, and we're happy to hear that.
We sure are. And Jack, if you can get a clean bill of health, I think I can too. Holloway's pass was knocked away, and Conrad was dropped just as he delivered it. Gary Moulton was the one who tipped the ball at the line of scrimmage. Holloway's a little slow getting up.
And when that pressure keeps coming, and 63 Rick Bolton there, Gary Moulton once again gets a hand up and knocks the ball away.
Holloway has been good on 3 of 7 passes tonight for 34. Bernard Quarles has really been impressive. He has been good on 12 of 14 for 144 yards. 2nd and 10, Toronto, the ball at their 16-yard line. Well, there's that quick pitch to Chris Woods, but it fooled no one. Eddie Lowe was there to smack him right away. And now Woods is slow getting up. And, of course, both Holloway and Woods were inactive last week.
Let's have a look at number 42, Eddie Lowe. He quickly reads the plate, and number 85, Chris Woods, and comes up and really puts a heck of a hit on Chris Woods. Takes him high, so he's got no chance to get those legs going and downfield. Good, solid tackle. Eddie Lowe in his 4th year from Alabama, and you know, Chris Woods has really been struggling this whole first half. Every time he's left the field, he's been limping, and I wonder if that hamstring still is bothering him a little bit.
You know, Leaf, I can update that a little bit. He came in with a bit of a hamstring problem, but he injured his knee and missed the series. He said he got a bruise on his knee. Now he's injured something else, it looks like.
Fran McDermott from midfield puts his head down, dives into the Toronto 49-yard line. So Saskatchewan will have excellent field position when we come back. They lead the ball game 10-1, and we'll return in a moment.
At Crazy Crazy, we've gone truckload crazy. We've got millions of dollars in inventory, and we must liquidate our stock now. Only at Crazy Crazy's giant audio-video warehouse can you get savings like these. An RCA wireless remote VHS video recorder for only $388. Or a Toshiba touch control microwave oven for the crazy price of $288. Check Turtle and Sun for details on our truckload crazy sale. Only at Crazy Crazy.
You got your hat, you got your hammer, and you got your nails. Now, I may look like a carpenter, but I'm not a union carpenter because I haven't had 4 years of apprenticeship, the skill and training of a union carpenter. And that makes a big difference, honey.
A union job is a job well done. A message from the Carpenters Union, Local 1325.
Non-union bills.
You know, if you want to see the dominance of Saskatchewan, you'll recall that Hank Olisic had put the ball out of bounds at the Saskatchewan 6. Now look after 1 punt each where the ball resides. At the 50-yard line of the Toronto Argonauts, Saskatchewan has the first down. They're dominating all aspects of the ball game. Give you an idea, Saskatchewan has had possession 15 and a half minutes. Toronto just over 6. So it's first down, Roughriders, the ball in Toronto territory. And this is Bobby Johnson. Argos toughen up a little bit right there as they contain him to a pickup of just a couple of yards.
Pat, we were talking about Chris Woods a moment ago. Would you believe this time it's an ankle injury? They're retaping it. They hope that Chris can get back in the game. As you can see, he's walking around on it. So all Chris has is a hamstring problem, a knee bruise, and a bad ankle. Other than that, he's fine.
Probably had
be
a
all
big
right.
second half. Really.
You know, they've really had trouble at the receiving spots, too, because Steve Cox out, Kenny Joyner's out with an injury, so, boy, another one to Chris Woods now would really hurt.
It's second down, 7 yards to go. The draw goes to Denny Ferdinand, and the Argos read it very well. They stopped him short of the first down. The stop by Darrell Goodlow, number 78. The Toronto Argonauts in Edmonton against the Eskimos on CTV's Friday Night Football, August the 1st. Look for it because it'll be a super game, particularly from an Edmonton point of view. They are the only undefeated team in the CFL in 1986. Congrats to Jackie Parker and his entire staff because they are providing a lot of excitement and entertainment across the CFL.
Yeah, you know, historically, Toronto always seems to come up with a pretty big game out in Edmonton.
Let's see if Jerry McGrath can come up with a pretty big punt right here for Saskatchewan. He's back at midfield. On it's a beauty. It's deep into the end zone. Carl Brazeley allows it to go right through. And so the Saskatchewan Roughriders pick up yet another point. Roughriders 11, Argonauts 1 on a 63-yard boost by Jerry McGrath.
All the other kickers around the league are saying, why didn't Carl just catch it and put his knee down so Jerry doesn't get that extra yardage on his punt? I know Bernie Ruoff and Hamilton would be saying that.
You know, Leaf, you were talking a moment ago, you and Pat, about that game next Friday. It's interesting in as much as the Argos will be on a short week. They have to travel home tomorrow. Eskimos have had a couple of weeks off. I'm not sure who has the advantage this year. The team on short week have been winning.
And isn't it a fact? Remember how years ago when they used to play back-to-back games, they were always better in the second game. Well, the pass was intended for Paul Pearson, but it was broken up by Billy Jackson, number 45. As the Argos, as you saw by that graphic, really having problems offensively.
Conrad Holloway going to the shotgun formation now. Billy Jackson, the team leader in tackles, showed you he's also equally as good at covering the pass.
35.
There's Holloway back in the shotgun. Bob Bronk, number 34, the veteran from Queens, helping out Jeff Arp.
And Holloway stays in that shotgun. And this time he floats it up, going deep for Darrell Smith, but the pass goes incomplete. Fran McDermott was with him step for step. Well, you know, Leaf, we thought we were going to be able to get away from Bill Stevenson this year. We left him at home in Toronto. He's by the fireside right now. It may be the hottest day of the year in Toronto, but he'll have the fire on. And who do we end up with here in Saskatchewan? Bill Stevenson.
It's like a nightmare, isn't it?
But it's a different Bill Stevenson. It's Bill, our pal from CKCK Television, who comes up and helps us spot and does such a masterful job. But we wanted the old guy in Toronto to know that we were thinking about it.
Well, I hope he can stay awake to halftime.
Well, it's 10 o'clock. I doubt it. Oh, good punt by Alyssa. Hangs it high and deep. Derek Zeno from his 20-yard line. But down quickly was Don Long to make the tackle at the 23. So Saskatchewan with 3 minutes and 52 seconds left to play in this first half, leading 11-1, start inside their 25-yard line. 55-yard pick by Alyssa and only a 3-yard return. Hank has had his detractors over the years, never really in the punting game, though. It was his field goal kicking that people questioned, and I think justifiably.
Well, I think if you recall, though, he concentrated so heavily on the field goal kicking, his punting did suffer. Now he doesn't have a care in the world. Just go back and do that punting, and he's just kicking the ball magnificently.
Bernard Quarles has been outstanding at quarterback. He hands the ball to Denny Ferdinand, and this is the way this fellow's been running all night. The Montrealer gets out over the 30 to the 32-yard line before Don Moen, 36, is there to bring him down after a pickup of very close to 9 yards.
Well, let's have a look at Don Moen. He got the fight off the block of Ray Elgar, then Bobby Johnson. That's two guys that finally makes the tackle on Denny Ferdinand.
And you know what's interesting to note? Bob Lees, our statistician, just pointed out Saskatchewan has now rushed for over 100 yards. The run is definitely coming back into the CFL, and I think a lot of people are happy about that. It's no longer just pitch and catch. Second down, less than a yard to go. And a penalty marker comes down, and we may have a time count violation. Let's wait and see. That's what it is. Boy, you hate to see that on second and inches.
And even more so, and you see Bernard Quarles throw the ball in disgust. he had an unbelievable matchup on a short yardage. He was going to do a play-action pass, and he had Ray Elgard on a defensive end, Darryl Goodlow, if you can believe it.
Well, we're down to 2:45 left to play in this half. The Saskatchewan Roughriders are comfortably in front 11-1. We'll be back in just a moment.
People say I eat 2 steaks and a dozen eggs for breakfast. No way, but I am big on Miller Lite. Light tastes great and it tastes less filling than regular beer. But a dozen eggs, I wouldn't have room for lunch.
Light beer from Miller. Everything you always wanted in a beer and less.
Introducing an incredible advance in Gillette shaving smoothness. New Atra Plus. The Plus is this unique white strip that releases lubricants as you shave. You never felt anything smoother. New Atra Plus by Gillette. The essence of shaving.
Following tonight's telecast, the Carling O'Keefe Sports offensive game star will receive a Royal Canadian Mint 1-ounce solid gold coin presented by Nikon. For once-in-a-lifetime shots, the Nikon One Touch. 11 totally automatic features, including flash. The simplest Nikon 35mm ever. Drop in the film, aim, and shoot. Get the Nikon One Touch.
We're back at Taylor Field in Regina, Saskatchewan. The Roughriders are out in front 11-1, and the situation confronting Bernard Quarles at quarterback for Saskatchewan is second down, 5.5 yards to go after that time count violation. The ball is at the Saskatchewan 28. Quarles' pass is complete. Tony Dennis was there to make the catch. Dennis' play forced him out, but what it does, it allows Saskatchewan to retain possession of the football.
First catch of the night. Sorry, Pat. First catch of the night for number 88, Tony Dennis. He's their leading receiver with 13 catches coming into tonight's ball game, and originally a third-round draft choice in 1985 from Simon Fraser University.
Well, you've got to be impressed at the job that the Saskatchewan coaching staff has done for this game. I mean, they're using all the receivers, and of course, they're calling the plays from the sideline. Bobby Johnson. And Johnson tries to dance his way through that line of scrimmage, cannot, because Willie Pless moved up very quickly from his linebacking spot to nail him after a gain of just a couple. Jack Goda, George Brancato, Jerry Keeling, and that entire Saskatchewan staff, they know they've got to win to get the fans coming back. It's not that they don't care about their football game in Saskatchewan. It's just that after 9 years of missing the playoffs, they've said, look, you show us you've got a good football club, we'll come to the park. And who can blame the fans for taking that attitude? It's second down, 8 yards to go. Saskatchewan. Quarles' pass was over the head of the intended receiver. David Marshall tipped it, and that probably was why the ball didn't get to Tony Dennis. So the Argonaut defense does the job. And now the offense will get its hands on the football with somewhere around 2 minutes left in this second quarter. 2:12 right now as McGrath stands back to punt. Good punt. High twisting spiral. And again, the cover team was down to nail Kirkland Thomas. Eddie Lowe, first man down, but a real good tackle on him. And the 40-yard punt was returned only 4 yards.
Well, both special teams have really done an excellent job here in the first half, covering those punts. Last time, Hank Olisic had a 55-yard punt with only a 3-yard return, a net of 52, and that time, excellent coverage on that Jerry McGrath punt. Watch 42 Eddie Lowe down quickly. Nice tackle right there. Don't let him get to the outside. If you miss the tackle, at least you force him back inside where you get some help.
2:02 left to play in the first half. Toronto from their 35. Holloway delivers, and the catch is made by number 74, Darrell Smith. Smith with his second reception of the evening. And it's good for about 7 yards.
No, Conrad says he feels good. The knee is sound, and it maybe affects his lateral movement a little bit. He said that in the opening remarks, but he really looked like he was running gingerly when he went outside the pocket there.
Second down, 3.5 to 4 yards to go for the first down. Holloway throws, and no wonder Craig Ellis was not able to hang on. He was jarred. Was that Billy Jackson or was Trent Bryant?
No, Trent Bryant, number 17, that really put the finishing blow on Craig Ellis. Let's have a look. Here's Craig Ellis going downfield. They make the right read. The pass is just a little late getting there. It's got to be a little harder. Watch the hit by 17. Wham, right on the back. Craig Ellis is one tough customer. He just bounced up and went right to the sideline, said, geez, a little mosquito bite got me there.
Glenn Suter, 27, was in there as well. Suter, of course, from Simon Fraser University. It seems that about 40% of all the Canadian talent is from SFU. Good kick by Ellis. He drives Zeno back to his 12. And again, the cover teams of the Argos do a good job as Don Mullen was down to drop him at the 20-yard line. A 57-yard kick. Now that shows you the speed of Don Mullen to be able to get down there that quickly. 57-yard boot by Elisic and only a 3-yard return by Derek Zeno.
Well, that's the second time that Don Mullen made the tackle down there. He was the one on the last one, and that time a 54-yard net exchange, and Hank should be really pleased with the job that his cover guys are doing.
Leaf, I can remember the old days when they used to say that Hank always outkicked his cover. But now he seems to keep it in control. The cover team gets there.
Well, the cover team's just really busting their tails to get downfield.
Saskatchewan starting from the 20-yard line. This is Bobby Johnson. And Johnson couldn't get to the outside. Rodney Harding had him by the jersey and drops him. Bernard Quarles in the first quarter completed 10 of 11 passes for 110 yards. In the second quarter, he's been good on 3 of 5 for 43 yards. What a half. 13 for 16 and 153 yards passing for Bernard Quarles. And Bob Obilovich is saying, we're going to have to do some things differently in that second half. There's Quarles. A good look at him, too.
Well, they really haven't had a heck of a lot of heat on Bernard Quarles. None. He's been able to roll out and just set up and throw without a heck of a lot of pressure in his face.
Second down, 7 yards to go. He has a lot of time, and he fires deep. Gets the catch. Here's Tony Dennis. And then he fumbles the football. Marcellus Green has it for the Argos. What a turn of events. Just when it appeared that Tony Dennis was going to go the distance, Marcellus Green picks up the fumble that Jerry Nash had caused when he tackled him.
Well, what a great throw by Bernard Quarles, regardless of the fumble. He just threaded the needle perfectly. Tony Dennis, a nice catch. Jerry Nash took the gamble and lost, but you know he makes up with a heady play here. Watch him just knock that ball loose.
You know what's nice? The Saskatchewan fans are applauding that offensive unit as they come out the field. And so they should. That was a 70-yard game.
Beautiful pass and run play, but a very alert play by Jerry Nash.
42 seconds left in the first half. Now Holloway goes deep. Looking for Chris Woods. He couldn't get to the football. He tried to fight his way through the defensive coverage of number 17, Trent Bryant, and number 2, Eddie Ray Walker, but he couldn't.
That would have been a tough one to complete.
That play to Dennis, Pat, might have been the longest of the year if you count both ways.
I don't think there's any doubt about that, Al.
There's Tony Dennis, their leading receiver so far this year, and made a great catch. But Jerry Nash made a good play to knock it loose, too.
35 seconds left to play in this second quarter. Holloway fires. The pass is completed as the first down to the 53-yard line. Chris Woods was there to make the catch in front of Trent Bryant.
Oh, no. Conrad Holloway's down, and he's hurt. That's the best pass he threw all night. He really stepped up and drilled it into Chris Woods.
14 yards was the pickup. Well, I don't say this as a cynic, but Conrad's lasted longer in this game than I anticipated. Well, I figured they'd blitz him crazy in the first quarter to get him out of there. You know, you and I have known him for so long, and he is such a good friend to both of us. You just hate to see, an athlete who's as dedicated as he is suffer this kind of pain game in and game out.
Well, there's no question. So many times we've remarked that he'll hang in there as longer than anybody, and when you hang in that long throwing footballs, you take a real beating, and Looks like once again he's hurt.
Well, it is certainly not for me to say, but I don't know how long Conrad can keep doing this. I mean, what he's facing is probably a crippling injury ultimately. Al?
Well, Pat, while we're waiting to get the word on Conrad Holloway, I'd like to just say something for these Regina fans. They've been the subject of much discussion this year about the lack of fans and the lack of interest, but I'll tell you, the Saskatchewan people are trying. Now they've got a lottery going. You've probably heard about it. $450,000 they're giving away in this lottery. $100 buys you a ticket, and there's something like 141 prizes, including 2 beautiful homes, and they're trying to raise some money and keep this team alive, and I certainly wish them well.
Well, isn't it amazing how they've been able to stay alive this long, and they do it through their big dinner that they have every year. It's $200 a plate, and now you talk about this lottery. It's a wonderful, wonderful football area.
Well, Conrad's up and back on his feet, and we hope he's okay. There's Norman Gibbs, number 9, and he would be the one that would come in and replace him. Obviously, he will come in and replace him, but let's have a look and see how this happens. Really, Conrad's just going to step up in the pocket and let it go, and I don't see Rick Goltz, number 63. You can't really see it. Look like he maybe rolled in on that left leg of Conrad Holloway, which is the bad leg.
All of this happening with 29 seconds left to play in this second quarter. Gibbs, the former Winnipeg Blue Bomber backup quarterback, is in for Toronto right now. And he gets inside the Saskatchewan 50 to the 48-yard line with 14 seconds left. That's a pickup of about 4 yards.
Well, they need about a good 10 yards to get Lance Chalmik in range for a field goal attempt.
Boy, Lance has been deadly in field goals. He's kicked 13 straight, 12 in a row in 86. Flag is down as Gibbs throws complete to Craig Ellis. Now they would be in field goal territory with 3 seconds left, but there is a penalty marker on the field.
Yeah, where they throw that flag, it's usually offside or illegal procedure.
Offside Saskatchewan. So we will see Lance Chalmik, I would suspect, because Toronto is trailing at 11-1, and the field goal would make it just a 7-point margin at halftime. The ball is at the 34-yard line, which will make it a 41-yard field goal. You remember last season, Chalmik came in for some criticism himself, but he's a great little guy who hung in there and now is absolutely perfect for 1986. 12 for 12. He's kicked 13 in a row. The CFL record is 21 by Don Sweet. Chalmik puts it up, and it is good. Make it 14 in a row for Lance Chalmik. Make it 13 straight in 1986, and make the score at halftime. The Saskatchewan Roughriders 11, the Toronto Argonauts 4. The Argos are very, very fortunate to still be in this ball game. Saskatchewan was really impressive in that first half offensively. Yet, strangely enough, they only scored 1 touchdown, that on the pass from Bernard Quarles to Derek Zeno. Quarles starting his first game for Saskatchewan, and Zeno coming off that injury that he had sustained in preseason. The Argos have not threatened offensively at all, and yet they come to halftime down by just 7 points.
I thought it was a pretty good half of football. In fact, I was very pleased with Saskatchewan's performance offensively. Toronto Argonauts, hopefully they get a little more offense going in the second half.
So the score is Saskatchewan 11, Toronto 4.
You're invited to stay with us during the halftime intermission. Dan Matheson will look at games played in the league earlier this week. An up-close and personal on running back Craig Ellis of the Argonauts. Commissioner Doug Mitchell will be answering you, the fans' questions, and Pat Leaf will be around with first half highlights. All of this during our halftime. This is the CFL on CTV.
You fought for every yard. Now there's only one left. There's no second best for you in the game you play or the beer you choose.
That's why you just say O.B. for that great taste is here. O.B., O.B., oh yeah, you just say O.B. A man can feel a shower coming on. He can feel the rain and feel it come. A man can feel a shower coming down. Then he's got springtime all year round. Feeling fresh, feeling clean, feeling strong.
Feel the power of an Irish Spring shower.
Wednesday night, catch the high-flying action of Blue Jays baseball. The Jays travel to KC to meet the Royals. Live right here on CTV.
Carling O'Keefe Sports, the CFL this week. Good evening once again, everyone. I'm Dan Matheson. 3 games have been played already this weekend in the Canadian Football League. We will pop up the scoreboard, and while you recap what has happened over the past couple of nights, allow me to tell you this is a special edition this evening. With us tonight is a special guest. When most CFL fans think of football, they think of the way the game is played in this country or in the United States, but it is also a fast-growing sport in Europe. The Italian Football League alone has 140 teams. The Milano Rhinos are being represented in Canada right now. 7 members of that team are touring CFL cities, taking in a couple of games, also Canadian college games. Wide receiver Luca Lorandi joins us now, and maybe you can tell us a bit, Luca, about football in your country.
Well, in Italy we have a young association, but we can play yet a good football. Here we have to learn the exact rules of the Canadian Football League because we use the American system of football. So we want to learn the Canadian football rules, but especially the Canadian way of throwing the ball because we know you have a good passing game. In Italy we need coaches and players who can learn, who can teach us the way of throwing the ball because we want to increase especially the passing game.
Now, I understand in your league you're allowed 2 imports on the field at a time. So you have 2 Americans. What positions would they play and how would they influence the game?
Usually we use them in defense like linebackers, but especially for the offense like runners because they are very faster and stronger, and so they can be really the difference between one or the other team. So we need them for playing a good football, and especially to learn a good football from them.
Certainly a wide receiver would like yourself would like to see the ball thrown more too. How big are your linemen? How much protection would they give your quarterback?
Well, they give a good protection to the quarterbacks, and I think they're big enough. But running, we have the blockers. I think faster enough, especially the linemen are faster enough for the blocks in the match.
How much would they weigh, though, your linemen?
Well, I think about 240 libras.
240 in pounds?
Yeah, pounds.
In kilograms, that is?
In kilograms, maybe 110, 120.
Well, look, I hope you have lots of fun here and learn lots about passing. And thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Luca Lorandi of the Milano Rhinos of the Italian Football League. Now, looking ahead to next week, here's what the Canadian Football League has on tap for you. Thursday night, the BC Lions are on the road. They are in Calgary to meet the Stampeders. CTV's Friday Nighter has the Toronto Argonauts in Edmonton against the Eskimos. Same night, the Montreal Alouettes at home. The Big All to the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. Then on the holiday Monday, August the 4th, Battle of the Roughriders, Ottawa at Saskatchewan. This is the CFL on CTV. Halftime continues in a moment.
Exciting Canadian professional football at Commonwealth Stadium, 7:30 Friday, August 1st. The Eskimos, talented, diversified in their attack, meet the Toronto Argonauts, battling for a playoff spot in a tighter, more competitive league. Tickets available at any Bay store, the Eskimo outlet in your area. The Eskimos office charged by phone, but join the corporate game sponsor, the Edmonton chapter of Credit Union, and cheer the Eskimos on.
Miracles are so incredibly good, they can change your life forever.
The secret to experiencing miracles is not only believing they exist, it's knowing where to find one.
Leon's presents a miraculous event. Leon's No Money Miracle. Guaranteed lowest prices plus pay no money down. No interest and no payment till 1987.
Your miracle is here. Now you know where to find it.
CTV presents the 1986 Players Challenge Tennis Championships from Montreal's Jarry Tennis Stadium. Catch it live August 9th and 10th right here on CTV.
This is the CTV Television Network. In Edmonton, this is 2 and 3 TV CFRN.
He came to Toronto in the offseason from the Saskatchewan Roughriders. The versatile running back the Argonauts say they have been looking for. One who can not only run with the football, but catch it too. Carling O'Keefe Sports, personal and up close with Craig Ellis. He's only been in the league since 1982, but Craig is already with his 5th CFL team. That's after a 4-club swing of the Western Conference. But he doesn't mind. He's come to grips with the traveling, says, after all, he just loves to play football.
I take a very business-like attitude during practice and up to the game time. But when the whistle goes off or the gun go off and the ball is kicked in the air, I can't really, describe what I'm doing because I don't know what I'm doing. I'm so involved, and all I know at the end of the game, I go home and I'll lay down and I think back on what I done, and if I made mistakes, I get down on myself, and if I did good, I feel pleased. So during the course of the game, I don't know how can I describe it. I'm just there.
Born in Los Angeles, Craig starred at San Diego State before turning pro. Drafted by San Francisco in '82, and his life changed.
The biggest change when I got to the professional level was getting rejected, being cut. I was always a star coming up, and all of a sudden I got to the San Francisco 49ers, and I was their last cut that year, and I thought I'd make the team, but little did I know I got released, and that was probably the coldest feeling I ever felt besides probably seeing someone dead or something. I really felt lonely. I've been with 4 teams besides Toronto right now, and I either were traded or cut along the way, and after the first time, you kind of get used to it. You don't unpack your bags, so you keep everything in a suitcase and pretty close watch on. So I was almost, something was bound to happen in Saskatchewan. I almost feel it. You can feel the vibes around there.
Despite the vibes, Craig was a very busy running back the past 2 seasons, when he also led the CFL in pass reception.
The thing I like about running back, you're involved in the offense so much, because if you're not running the ball, you're either blocking or you're either running a route or running someone off so the other guy can catch the ball. You're involved. I played receiver for the 49ers. They transferred me into a receiver position. I felt lonely out there. You see the ball maybe 6 or 8 times, and you very solidly block. You're not involved in the offense. So I like the running back because you're more involved.
Craig Ellis of the Toronto Argonauts. This is the CFL on CTV. Halftime continues in a moment.
A police car's transmission takes a brutal beating. So when transmissions fail, they've got to be rebuilt to perform like new. That's why so many police departments go to AMCO. Police can't take unnecessary risks. Should you, go where you know it's better than fixed. It's AMCO.
Now, during AMCO's 13th anniversary event, enjoy big savings on all inspection and repair services. Stop by for a free multi-check. It could save you from a large repair bill down the road.
It's happening now. The most incredible offer ever at the Brick. Make no down payment. Pay no interest. Do not pay anything until 1987 on all home furnishings. A wide selection of top name brand appliances, state-of-the-art televisions, video recorders, and audio systems. It's on right now. No down payment. No interest. Do not pay till 1987. Only at the Brick. Get it before it's gone.
Esso, and only Esso, is first with a remarkable breakthrough. A new gasoline that cleans as you drive. A new gasoline that cleans
dirty carburetors and foul fuel injectors. A new gasoline available in all grades. Esso and only Esso has the no trouble gasoline in all our pumps.
Your United Way dollar is working every day of the year. At the Canadian National Institute for the Blind, this means recreation programs for the visually impaired, adjustment to blindness training, development of specialized equipment, and employment opportunities. All of these help the visually disabled to live independent lives.
I have seen what our United Way dollars can do. Thanks to you, it works for all of us, the United Way.
Good evening. I'm Tom Clark, and this is a CTV News update. Father Lawrence Jenko, the American priest who has been held hostage in Lebanon for the past 18 months, is a free man once again. His radical Muslim captors released him earlier today to Syrian authorities. Jenko appeared tired, but has been described by American diplomats as being in otherwise good health. The Islamic Jihad stated that this was their last display of good faith, and that if Washington did not now start negotiations for the release of the 3 other Americans still being held hostage, the consequences would be grave. Jenko carried with him a videotape of one of the other hostages, David Jacobson. In it, Jacobson attacked the Reagan administration and called on Americans to put pressure on Washington to negotiate with the Islamic Jihad. The death toll now stands at 9 in Britain's worst train crash in 2 years. The accident happened near the village of Lockington near Hull. The train, packed with families returning from seaside vacations, struck a van at an unmanned level crossing. 52 others were injured, 12 of them seriously. There are reports that the crossing lights may not have been working when the crash occurred. 3 policemen of the Royal Ulster Constabulary were murdered today as they sat in an unmarked car in the Catholic border town of Newry. 2 gunmen dressed in long white butcher coats opened fire at close range. The IRA has claimed responsibility for the attack. So far, 9 police constables have been killed in Ulster this year. Prime Minister Brian Mulroney has sent a strongly worded protest to Washington, stating Canada's opposition to subsidized American wheat sales to China and the Soviet Union. Ottawa is worried that the bargain basement wheat sales could mean the loss of the 2 largest markets for Canadian wheat farmers. And one of Hollywood's most renowned directors, Vincent Minnelli, has died at the age of 83. He once said that he was best known as Judy Garland's ex-husband and Lisa Minnelli's father. But his films, which included such classics as Gigi, An American in Paris, and Meet Me in St. Louis, were widely hailed as some of the best musicals of all time. Details on these and other stories later tonight on the CTV National News.
Time now for Ask the Commissioner, where you, the fan, can put a question to Doug Mitchell. He will try to respond as best he can. Today's question comes from John Hare of Belleville, Ontario. And he thinks the CFL should do a little more to help stabilize rosters and give the fans a chance to get to know the players better. Doug, I think maybe this is a legitimate beat.
Very much so, and I think we did address in the offseason this year when we set up an inactive roster so that every team can have as many players as they want on practice agreements, staying with the team and as backup for their current active roster. I think it allows the teams to have surplus players available in the case of injury and to prevent more movement or prevent a lot of movement in the league of players going from one team to another.
What kind of reaction have you had from the clubs about this already?
Very positive, because they said that they've never had the availability of talent like they had this year, and they didn't want to make a lot of deletions and not have backup in the town and practicing with them. So I think it's been very well received by the teams, and I think it'll have a tremendous impact on the player identification around the league.
Stability, you want stability? Well, here's one small step. If you want to ask the commissioner yourself, here's the address to write to, Bay Street in Toronto.
Well, there's no question that a lot of people have been concerned about the stability of the CFL rosters, understandably. The Toronto Argonauts and the Saskatchewan Roughriders are stable right now, and we've got a football game because Saskatchewan is kicking off to Toronto. The Argos are down by 7 as Craig Ellis takes this second-half kickoff from his 15. And Ellis runs hard to get to the 40-yard line. But the Argos, I suspect, will have a problem because Conrad Holloway is not expected back in this third quarter, and yet here he comes. Oh, it's unbelievable. Look at the statistical story of that first half, and yet you figure out how come Saskatchewan's only leading by 7 points. 333 yards to 62. That's the net offense as Conrad Holloway comes back to guide the Toronto Argonauts. And he quickly fires inside to Darrell Smith. And Smith will have the first down of this second half as Glenn Suter moved up to make the tackle, but not before the first down was made.
Pat, let me update you on the Holloway situation. During the intermission, I checked on the injury. He did get hit on the bad knee, but they did a little work on it. It was only another bruise, and so Condridge decided he'd come back into the ball game, but you can bet he can feel it.
Oh, my goodness. I don't know how many knee injuries he's had, but it's got to be at least a half dozen. The pickup was 12 yards. Holloway is stopped by Billy Jackson, number 45. And he's dropped back inside his 45-yard line. Well, they're going to spot it right at the 45.
Well, they'd like to establish momentum with that quick three-step drop and a little rollout action, but you're in big trouble when your receiver's covered. That time they jumped on Craig Ellis quickly, and Billy Jackson was there to make the sack. If you can't get the ball off quickly in that type of offense, you're in a heap of trouble.
That's the first sack of the ball game for that very staunch Saskatchewan defense. And that's a surprising statistic in itself. Holloway fires, and the catch is made. Number 72, Kirtland Thomas, has given Toronto a first down at the Saskatchewan 45-yard line. A pickup of 20 yards. It was 2nd and 18, and Thomas comes back with the big catch.
Holloway does an excellent job to maneuver around and bide himself a little extra time. Kirtland Thomas finds the hole in that zone coverage for 2nd and 18. Makes a big catch and a big play to get them into Saskatchewan territory.
If you've just joined us, Saskatchewan leads it by 7 points as we begin play here in the third quarter. Toronto is on the move at the Saskatchewan 45. This is Craig Ellis, and the former Saskatchewan Roughrider puts his head down and bangs inside the 40 to about the 38-yard line. He'll have a pickup of 7 before he ran into John Gonzalez and Eddie Lowe, the right end and the linebacker on that side, 57 and 42 respectively.
Conrad Holloway has to keep that defensive line a little bit honest. You can't throw the ball every play, and why not go to a draw play? Not bad with Craig Ellis carrying the football.
They actually spotted inside the 40, so it was a pickup of 6 and not 7. Get down, Conrad, and he does inside the 30 to the 29-yard line, but it's another Toronto first down.
Well, I bet you his entire teammates and Bob Obilovich's heart goes right into their throat when Conrad takes off with that football. But Nick Hebler, number 99, got in so quickly on him, Holloway had no choice but to run with it.
And it shows you that Holloway is out there to win the football game. I mean, he realized that the only way to get the first down was if he ran it himself, which he did. First down, Toronto at the Saskatchewan 30. Holloway's pass, Kirtland Thomas makes a diving catch at the 15-yard line. It's another Toronto first down. Argos banging on the door of tying up this game.
Holloway has to let that ball go a little earlier than he wants to with the pressure coming, but it appears though number 74, Darrell Smith, the slot back, comes across the middle and makes a nice diving catch. Keep that drive alive.
Argos have taken this second half kickoff and driven all the way down. This is Ellis. And Ellis is down to the 10-yard line. He'll have a pickup of close to 5. Eddie Lowe, number 42, again makes the stop.
Boy, you go in at halftime, and of course you're trailing the ball game. You always make a few adjustments, and it's just great to come out in the third quarter, take the opening kickoff, and put a nice drive together.
Jim Hunter goes in at linebacker. Gary Moten comes out of there on second down and about 5 yards to go. Holloway throws, touchdown, Toronto Argonauts. Craig Ellis with the touchdown reception just inside the goal area. And now the Argos are within a point of tying it.
Well, this is Craig Ellis' second touchdown receiving of the season, and it's exactly the same one he scored in Montreal. Takes it to the outside, cuts back in over the middle, and Glenn Suter, number 27, the safety, has him in man-to-man. He just can't stay with him. What a great way to start the third quarter.
A drive of 70 yards, and they only gained 68 in the entire first half.
Well, they made some adjustments, obviously, and shored up some of that blocking, and there's old Craig Ellis with his second receiving touchdown of the year.
We have a tied football game. The Argos kept the ball for 4 minutes and 28 seconds. They have tied the game at 11 apiece, and we'll be back with their kickoff in just a moment.
At last, a great tasting beer comes to light. new old light. Like a breath of fresh air, light beer, just the way you want it. With a great, satisfying taste that refreshes like a cool breeze on a hot afternoon. So spread the word. With new OV Light, a great tasting beer comes to light.
For all those performance cars that want to keep performing even in wet, sloppy weather, Goodyear introduces the Eagle GT Plus 4. High performance and all-weather performance in one remarkable tire. The Eagle GT Plus 4. The performance won't be canceled by the weather. You either have Goodyear Eagles or you need them.
Is there anything nicer than a moonlit night in the prairies? The Saskatchewan Roughriders, Toronto Argonauts, all tied up at 11 points apiece. How important is this game to both these clubs? A victory for Toronto. They move into sole possession of first spot in the East. A victory for Saskatchewan. They move into sole possession of third spot in the West. Olisic's kickoff will be handled by Derek Zeno at the 18. And Zeno gets that over the 30 to about the 33-yard line. And now Bernard Quarles, who was so outstanding in that first half, brings his Saskatchewan Roughrider offense onto the field of play with 10 minutes and 27 seconds left to play in this third quarter.
Well, Jack Coda had a premonition or some kind of feeling about starting Bernard Quarles, and oh, how right he was, because in that first half he was 14 of 17, 223 yards, and a touchdown. Great performance.
They had 300 and some yards offense in that first half, yet they only scored one touchdown. Quarles sets up. The pass is complete. Number 37, David Conrad, coming out of the backfield, was tackled by Marcellus Green. And we'll see where they spot the ball. It is a first down, it appears, at around the 45-yard line.
Well, Leaf and Pat, if I might just interject for a minute, you're right. Jack Coda was not really trying to pull a subterfuge on the Argos. He was planning on Harold Smith. Alan Ford told me at halftime, another former great Saskatchewan player, that it was just moments before the game, Jack had a hunch to go with Quarles, and did, maybe because Quarles ran a 4.6540 last week.
They actually ruled that the gain was 9 yards, so make it 2nd and 1. And now let's see where they spot the ball on this particular occasion.
Willie Pless, number 32, just made a heck of a hit there. I don't know if they pick up the first down, but he really sliced in from that linebacking spot and put a tremendous hit on, I think it was Bobby Johnson.
Let's take a look at that linebacker, number 32.
Yeah, it was Bobby Johnson, and he really drilled him.
You know, there was a time when Taylor Field in Regina was the easiest place to telecast a football game from because you were right on the sidelines, overhanging. Now it's the toughest park in Canada because you're so far removed. They built a new stand on this side. It's third down, inches. Quarles keeps it himself. He dives over. He was knocked back, but there is no question that his forward momentum carried him over the 45.
Well, Dan Rastovich, number 35, came in a short yardage situation. He's a reserve linebacker, and he really puts a shot on Bernard Quarles, but there's no question he was up and over and broke the plane of that first yard marker.
Well, as Lee pointed out, Rastovich thought it was Christmas time. He was just all excited and jumping and screaming.
He doesn't get a chance to do that too often.
No. It's first down, Saskatchewan. The ball is just outside their 45. Quarles swings it out to Denny Ferdinand. The flag is down. What a brilliant play by Denny Ferdinand. Will it stand? Darrell Wilson was there to make the tackle. It was a 45-yard gain. The penalty is against the Roughriders.
What a shame. Denny Ferdinand made such a great cutback across the open field. It will come back, however. Neil Quilter and Vic Stevenson provided the blocking for him out there, and I think one of them is going to get called for the holding.
Saskatchewan. First down.
Well, as Leaf pointed out, Neil Quitter, the right offensive guard, is called for holding.
Pat, as if that wasn't bad enough, sorry, Bobby Johnson, as you look at that play, he's out of the lineup right now with he's got a bad collarbone, and it might be a pinched nerve that's giving him a lot of pain.
Well, there's Neil Quilter, and he gets the arms up under Don Moe. No question about that call.
Bernard Quarles was in trouble, so he was able to scamper out of there and get to the 38-yard line, which is only a pickup of 3, but at least he didn't lose. Willie Pless, who's been all over the field tonight for Toronto, was there to make the stop.
There's Dr. Robert Jackson on the sidelines attending to Steve Delcole, who really is a jack of all trades for the Argonauts now. Snaps on third down punting situations. Is a backup offensive lineman, a backup defensive lineman. So even though he's not a starter, he does a pretty valuable job for them.
They spot the ball at the 39-yard line, so it's second down and about 14 yards to go for the first down. The pass is caught by Ray Algott. Now, he'll be short of the first down as he got to about the 49, but he had to get over midfield. Darrell Wilson again made the tackle for Toronto.
Ray Algott last week was shut out in his bid to keep a pass-catching streak alive. Has not missed a game catching passes since he's been with the Roughriders, but last week the Argos shut him out. There he makes the catch, of course, not far enough for the first down. If we ever get a shot of him on the sidelines, you should see the new haircut he's sporting.
I don't cut up anybody's haircut.
It doesn't take a lot of technique to do this one.
This is Kirtland Thomas. And Thomas does a lot of dancing, but nobody will take him home as he's downed at the 27-yard line. We're all tied up with 6:55 left to play in the third quarter. We'll be back with Toronto's first down in a moment.
John, Sammy, the Jag won't be in till Monday. Sorry.
John, it's Dave. Looks like your boat needs a brand new keel.
John, Derek here. Sorry, but I can't make our squash game. Later.
There's one indulgence that never lets you down. Score. Rich milk chocolate with a crisp toffee center.
John, darling, it's Angela. Dinner's off. Derek invited me to play squash.
Score. Indulgence you can trust.
A day's work can be pretty tough. That's why Toyota builds work trucks like Toyota 1-Ton. It takes on the biggest payloads in its class with a 2.4-liter engine. A column shift automatic means more room. And the all-new Toyota panel van with 155.3 cubic feet of cargo space, it holds more than any small van. Solid choice, Toyota trucks.
Well, an absolute must for every football fan is the CFL's 1986 fact book. You can purchase it for $14.95 at major bookstores in your area, at the offices of every CFL team, or by writing the CFL, 1200 Bay Street, 12th floor, Toronto, and it's $3 postage and handling. But believe me, it's a beauty.
At $14.95, you're right, Al. It's a steal. There's our pal, Ray Algott. Nice-looking haircut. But as I say, I don't make comments on other people's hair. Holloway's first pass is thrown complete to Chris Woods. He steps out of bounds at the 30 for a pickup of about 4 yards. You know, they have that Ask the Commissioner. I'm going to write to Commissioner Doug Mitchell and ask him why he moves the yardsticks from one side of the field to the other at halftime, because it takes me a quarter to find them.
Well, I guess it's cool in the summertime. I don't know. You're not going to make Esquire.
Second down, 6 yards to go. Holloway in the shotgun, looks, fires. Oh! And the pass is caught by Darrell Smith, who went high in the air over Fran McDermott. Now, Darrell Smith is 6'2". Fran McDermott is 5'10". That's the reason this pass was caught.
Oh, that was a great throw by Conrad Holloway. Led him perfectly into the middle, high in the air, and that's a tremendous catch. Nice pattern by Darrell Smith.
However, he is still down after making that reception. He has given Toronto a first down after the 21-yard game. We're all tied up at 11 points apiece with 6 minutes and 3 seconds left to play in the third quarter on an absolutely beautiful night here on the prairies.
But it's really being an injury-riddled night again for the Argonauts. Smith down now. Just a moment ago, starting tackle Steve Delcall went down with a bad neck, and I'm told he'll be out a few plays. He jammed his neck somewhat, and as I told you earlier, Pat, Freddie Dunbar was telling me 18 separate injuries in the game last week. That's a lot.
Yeah, I don't remember the Argos ever having the number of injuries that they have had so far this season. Just want to remind everybody that on Friday, August the 8th, the Calgary Stampeders will be at home. Now, the question we want you, the fans, to answer is, who will they be playing against? Because we've decided we're not telling you at this point. 5:50 left to play in this third quarter. Holloway jumps, fires. Craig Ellis has the ball, but he doesn't have the first down as he is forced out at about the 52-53-yard line. Now, I know that Commissioner Mitchell will be watching this game, and Mr. Commissioner, let me tell you, you have erred in moving those sticks from the near sideline of the television broadcast to the far side because you can't find out what's happening.
Well, right after this play, I'm going to tell you why they did it. Whether you like it or not, it's another thing.
Yeah. Second down, 9 yards to go, Argos. Holloway got all caught up in the traffic. And the reason for that was that Alan Johns just forced everything back.
Almost looked like a quarterback draw that just really got bundled up there and never got a chance to succeed. But talking about the yardsticks, when you've got two teams on opposite sides of the field, one team gets to see that yard marker from across the field, and it's a lot easier to tell if you've got a third down gamble or something. That guy that holds the thing that says second down or third down, so it's each team has to have a chance at having it across the field from them in one half.
You know the amazing thing? They did it for 100 years and never had to do it.
I'm just telling you why they changed it.
Yeah.
To make it fair for both teams.
Gerald Zeno is at the 3-yard line. And he dances his way out over the 10 to the 11 with 4.5 minutes left to play in this third quarter. We're all tied up at 11, and we'll be back in just a moment.
A great name in beer should be the start of a truly great tasting light beer. But it took more than a heritage of taste. It took time to get it just right. Now it's here, introducing OV Light. With the great OV taste you'd expect from a fine brewing tradition. New OV Light, a great tasting beer comes to light.
I'm no car salesman, and you're no dummy. So I have no chance of selling you a Renault in 30 seconds. But I must tell you, I think this Renault is too good a car for you not to consider. Yes, you can do the expected and buy another one of whatever it is you're driving, or you can put yourself in a Renault. Probably not the first car you'd think of, but it just might be the smartest.
The answer to our quiz just moments ago, the Calgary Stampeders will be playing the Toronto Argonauts, and that will be in Toronto at 7:30 Eastern Daylight Time. And if you're in the Toronto area, watch those Stampeders, because I'll tell you, with Rick Johnson and quarterback, they are a force to be reckoned with in 1986. From the 11-yard line, Saskatchewan in a tie now at 11 points apiece. Bernard Quarles at quarterback. The handoff goes to Bobby Johnson, and Johnson has had very little success running the ball the last number of occasions. He picks up 3 yards that time, 0 the time before, 3 before that, 2, 3. So Toronto's done a great job. Rodney Harding particularly has really stayed home. Well, the pickup was a couple, make it 2nd and 8. Quarles sets up the screen, and it was very nearly picked off. Don Moen nearly took that tip ball, and had he been able to make the catch, he would have run it in for a touchdown. I think it was Rodney Harding got his hands on it.
Well, there's Keith Delco with the ice bag. Probably got some kind of a strained neck muscles or something. A great opportunity for Toronto now. They held defensively. They've had some kind of offense here in the third quarter, and they should get the ball back around midfield.
Well, they can all buy Hank Olisic a beer after this game, because he was the one that kept them in that first half. His tremendous punts forced Saskatchewan to move the ball so far, and then they never did get it into the end zone except for that one touchdown. So the Argonauts are going to begin from their 45-yard line. Kirtland Thomas with the punt return for Toronto of 7 yards after that 38-yard boot by Jerry McGrath. And all of this coming with 3 minutes and 15 seconds left to play in this third quarter.
Well, here's Mark Ernest, number 54, getting a chance to snap the football, son of former Saskatchewan great Ted Ernest, and locates that ball, fight off the block, and makes the tackle. Nice job.
Mark has been down on a couple of those special team coverages and made a couple of good tackles tonight. Holloway's pass is complete inside to Darrell Smith. And let's just see how many catches Darrell Smith has tonight. That's his 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for 65 yards.
You know, Conrad and I were talking on the field before the game, and, you know, we thought if they were going to blitz a lot, I said, well, boy, you got to hit those inside guys in a hurry. And he said, no kidding. And right there is a perfect example of it. Darrell Smith just off the line of scrimmage. Quick looking pattern, and they pick up 8 yards. Great play on first down.
Tonight's attendance, 18,307, which is a couple of thousand better than they had their last home game. So the fans are starting to come back a little bit. Holloway is looking deep for Chris Woods, but it's well over his head out of bounds.
I'm extremely impressed with the two young cornerbacks playing for the Riders, both Mike Magruder and that time Trent Bryant. They've really done an outstanding job against the Toronto Argonaut wideouts tonight. I mean, they've caught a few balls, but they really haven't let anybody get in behind them. And that time, it was an out and up, which is a kind of deceptive pass pattern you can get fooled on. Not so for Trent Bryant. Stayed with him step for step.
Clock is running as we move toward the 2-minute mark left to play in this third quarter. Lance Chonick will try a 45-yard field goal, and it will be spotted down by Jeff Jocelyn, the third-string quarterback who was just added to the roster this week.
Well, it's got to be a player short for Lance Chonick to ask the referee for a timeout. You know, it's interesting. David Bates was originally his holder this year, and when they released him, they put Jeff Jocelyn on the roster. That's, in fact, who was Lance Chonick's first choice as his holder, so he's got to be pleased that Jeff Jocelyn's there.
Well, there's a look at what happens on Wide World of Sports next Saturday. The 1986 World Amateur Boxing Championships, the Royal Bank Equestrian World Cup, the Masters Water Skiing Championships will all come to you at 4 o'clock Eastern Daylight Time.
I'd like to see what this is. I don't quite understand what happened.
Whatever it was, it's back to the 49-yard line, and it takes Toronto out of field goal position and brings Hank Olisic into the ball game. Olisic has had just a great night hunting. Now he angles this one. Zeno allows it to bounce. It bounces back towards Toronto and out of bounds at the 13-yard line.
That last penalty against the Argonauts was a time count violation. So they moved the ball back, and Toronto had to end up with Hank Olisic coming in the game instead of a Lance Chonick field goal.
That was the strangest signal that I've ever seen for a time count violation.
I'm informed by our brain trust in the truck that that's what it was.
How about that, sports fans? A minute 25 left to play in the third quarter. We've got a tie ball game at 11. Saskatchewan starting from their 13-yard line. Quarles is going deep. He's looking for Michael Arms. He makes the catch.
in Toronto territory at the 52-yard line. Carl Braisley was with him, but Alarms made a brilliant catch as the 5'8", 170-pounder from Angelo State with 3 seasons experience in the CFL gains 45 yards for Saskatchewan.
Well, he must have some pretty good speed because you're not going to see this happen too often. Number 2, Carl Braisley, an all-Canadian cornerback, and Michael Alarms gets in behind him with a great throw by Bernard Qualls. Nice catch, and that's a great way to get yourself out of a jam in a hurry.
Boy, for sure. Qualls fires, and he's throwing the ball with a lot of authority as he connects with Tony Dennis. And they spot this at the 40-yard line. It'll be another first down, a pickup of 12, this time in front of Dennis Clay.
Well, the fans in Regina are really being entertained here in the second half. A great offensive display in the first 2 quarters, and now after that long bomb to Michael Alarms, a nice pass play to Tony Dennis, and Bernard Qualls has got a heck of a nice drive going here.
313 yards in less than 3 quarters passing for Bernard Qualls.
There you go, Ned.
Denny Ferdinand, the ball carrier. Ferdinand gets to the 36-yard line before Darrell Goodlow hops on his back, number 78.
You know, when I saw Harold Smith in our pregame interview, he seemed really kind of nervous when he was talking there, and seemed kind of nervous about what he was doing. And I wonder if Jack Goda kind of sensed that and said, I'm going to start Qualls and just take a shot with him, because I think Harold Smith might be a little nervous. And if that was the case, he sure was right, because Qualls has been magnificent.
Yeah, good point. It's second down, 7 yards to go. Qualls throws. Derek Zeno went up to try to make the catch, but Dennis Clay was able to knock it away. And so that's it. At the end of the 3rd quarter, the score, Saskatchewan 11, Toronto 11. We'll return with the 4th quarter in a moment.
For all the unsung heroes. For all the guys who go the extra distance. You work hard. Now Right Guard works harder for you. With new Right Guard deodorant stick. Wider to go on easier. And specially formulated to last longer than ever before. New Right Guard deodorant stick. It works overtime.
Only you. Just because you've washed your car doesn't mean you're finished. After each wash, you need some Armor All. On the dash, the bumper, and especially the tires. After all, when you're in love, what's a few extra minutes? Armor All. It's the finishing touch every time you wash your car.
I'm looking forward to the day when I can spend a lot more time traveling. And you know, it was my London life agent who showed me how I can do it. A financial package called Freedom 55 gives me all the life insurance protection I need. And it'll help me retire as early as age 55. And that's when I'll start seeing the world the way I want to see it.
London Life believes life insurance is also for the living. Ask us about Freedom 55.
It's nice to be with a company that understands life, as well as life insurance.
Jack Goda's had a lot of success every place he's been, and this is obviously his most difficult task as Dave Ridgway lines up a 44-yard field goal, and it is good. And with that field goal, the Saskatchewan Roughriders have jumped out in front of the Toronto Argonauts 14-11. It's been a heck of a football game to this point. How Toronto is still in it is beyond me.
Well, it's been great entertainment for the fans here in Regina tonight. Beautiful evening for football. Just a gorgeous day in Regina this afternoon. A little better than the rain and muggy weather we left behind us in Toronto.
It was wild last night in Hamilton. You could barely breathe. Incidentally, that field goal by Dave Ridgway is his 120th of his career. Unbelievable statistics. 419 offensive yards for the Saskatchewan Roughriders in 3 quarters of play. 14 minutes, 47 seconds left to play in the fourth quarter. Saskatchewan 14, Toronto 11. Dave Ridgway tees it up. Craig Ellis is waiting back at his 12-yard line. But Ridgway does not kick it toward him. Instead, it goes to Rasevich, and he very alertly grabs it on the first hop and steps out at the 43-yard line. Toronto will be happy with that. Anytime you can start outside the 35, it's got to be a bit of a bonus, and they start here outside the 40.
Boy, Dan's had a big night. Got to hit Bernard Quarles on a short yardage. Gets to carry the football on a kickoff return.
Conrad Holloway has been down a couple of times tonight. Had to be helped off once, but he's back in the football game. And the Argos need him in there if they are to have any shot at winning here tonight. Down he goes in the arms.
Rick Volk's got the fast penetration in there. When you've got it, once again, when you've got that three-step little rollout drop, watch this. He's got to get the ball away now. Now, it's got to be gone, but good coverage downfield, and you don't stand a chance. The linemen just are not expected to hold their blocks any longer than a quick 3 count, and Rick Volk comes in and makes the sack.
Now, let's have a look and see why Goltz is in there.
Well, they kind of alternate, Al Johns and Rick Volk.
So the loss is 3 yards. It's second down, 13 yards to go. Flag comes down as Paul Pearson makes his first catch of the night, and he has a first down into Saskatchewan's 50-yard line, but we've got to wait and see what the penalty marker's about. Eddie Ray Walker and Trent Bryant were there to make the stop. 21 yards to gain. Offside against Saskatchewan.
I believe that's Paul Pearson's first catch of the night. Saskatchewan,
Leaf,
2 offside, decline.
I think they
first
lined
down.
up offside that time, a little overeager.
So it's a first down for the Toronto Argonauts. The ball is inside the Saskatchewan 50. 13 and a half minutes left to play in the fourth quarter. Saskatchewan leads it by 3. And this is Warren Hudson. Hudson, number 37, the junior from Oshawa, is all the way down to the Saskatchewan 22-yard line. Finally brought down by Eddie Ray Walker and Glenn Suter, numbers 2 and 27, respectively.
Holloway changes the pace with a draw play to Warren Hudson in his second year from the Oshawa Junior Hawkeyes. And he makes some great moves. How about that one to get around Trent Bryant? Cuts back in. I'm not going out of bounds. Put the head down, get a few more yards. Nice super run. He's the fullback of the future for this team. He's a real tough kid, great blocker. And you saw right there, he's not a bad runner.
Picked up 27 yards, first down, Toronto. Ball at the Saskatchewan 22. Very quickly, the pass, if it was intended for Craig Ellis, he never looked around for it, and as a result, it was thrown behind him.
That's one of the reasons that Bob Obilovic said that the quarterbacks have been sacked so much this season. The receivers just have not done a good job downfield. That time, Holloway reading a quick pattern to Craig Ellis. He never looked back for the ball.
Holloway in the shotgun formation now on second down. He had trouble with the pass from center, but he goes to the end zone. Touchdown, Paul Pearson. The Argos lead it for the first time in the game. 23 yards, the touchdown pass from Conrad Holloway to Paul Pearson, who was in behind Trent Bryant.
Oh, what a great read Conrad Holloway and Paul Pearson made. Second and long. They sat back in a 3-deep zone coverage. Watch Conrad Holloway just throws it deep down the middle. Glenn Suter, the safety, has to come over and make the play. He can't get there. Neither can the corner, Trent Bryant, and Paul Pearson stretches out. What a super catch, super throw. Nice touchdown.
You're right, Lee. What a great play, and I thought that Holloway fielded that like a great shortstop, that snap.
Yeah, Willie Thomas is making an adventure every time he goes back in the shotgun.
Well, of course, Al's reference is to the fact that Conrad was drafted by the Montreal Expos when he came out of the University of Tennessee as a shortstop.
It's so in good stead, Pat.
Yeah, right. It's the Toronto Argonauts out in front of Saskatchewan, 18-14. We'll be back with the Toronto kickoff in a moment.
Rehearsed it 1,000 times. Yet it's never the same way twice. There's no second best for you in the game you play or the beer you choose.
That's why you just say OB for that great tasting beer. OB, OB, oh yeah. You just say OB.
Now Conrad Holloway fields a bad snap by Willie Thomas and avoids the rush and really makes a good read to Paul Pearson. What a fabulous catch. You know, you're going to take a real shot from the ground when you hit. He tucked the ball in, and boy, he's one of the best at doing that. Pretty quiet in the first half, but 2 big catches now.
It's unbelievable to look at the offensive statistics of this football game and see Toronto out in front, because Saskatchewan has just dominated every aspect of it. But that's what they say. Many times statistics are for losers. Let's see what happens as Derek Zeno takes the kickoff at his 5-yard line. And Zeno gets to the 25, which indicates there was excellent coverage by that Toronto unit. And Saskatchewan will be starting in unenviable field position.
What a great kick by Hank Delisic down to the 5-yard line. He really got his foot into that one.
We've got the 2 deepest kickers in the CFL. Ridgway averages 62 and Elisic 61.
Toronto cover team also does an excellent job. Number 15, Cliff Hewitt, finally going to come down and make the play. Watch him slice right through there. Nobody even picked him up for some. You know, you got to have tunnel vision to miss him.
So the Roughriders starting from their 24. The give is to Denny Ferdinand, and he fights his way out close to the 29. He'll have a pickup at close to 5. Rodney Harding again was there to make the tackles. Look at that statistical story. 423 yards total offense, Saskatchewan. Toronto 231. But here's the important stat. Toronto 18, Saskatchewan 14. With 11:45 left to play in the 4th quarter. Quarles' pass is caught. A leaping effort up at the 45-yard line. Tony Dennis made the catch between Carl Bracey and Jerry Nash. And injured is Derek Zeno. But he appears to be all right.
Dennis really went high and made a great catch.
Now, you're a pass receiver. What are the 2 of them doing in that same area?
Well, the play took a little long to develop, and, you know, each guy was running a hook, and they just kept coming into each other's area. That's what happens on a broken pass pattern.
First down, Saskatchewan, and Quarles is going to keep it. Well, I know there's still 10 minutes left in the ball game, but I can't conceive of anyone other than Bernard Quarles being selected as the Carling O'Keefe offensive game star, because he's been simply outstanding.
Well, he really made a good decision there. He rolled out, and the receivers didn't look like they were going to be open. He had a guard out in front, so he didn't hesitate at all. And that non-hesitation really got the speed going and a great run.
15 yards to pick up. First down, Saskatchewan. The ball at the Toronto 49. This is David Conrad. Conrad coughs up the football. Toronto has recovered, and they will be awarded possession.
Number 73, David Marshall, the middle linebacker, comes over and recovers the fumble by David Conrad. Really unfortunate for the Riders. They put a heck of a nice drive together, but Michael Elarm's on the block. And here comes David Conrad around the corner. Don Moen strips the ball loose, and 73 David Marshall's Johnny on the spot for the recovery.
So Toronto gets the ball back at its own 41-yard line with 10 minutes left to play in the fourth quarter. It's been an excellent football game, only a couple of turnovers. Holloway's pass intended for Chris Woods was over his head and out of bounds. But Conrad told you what I thought was an interesting comment before the kickoff here tonight. He said if he was going to get a lot of pressure, the ball was going out of bounds.
Yeah, Conrad's not too happy with his receivers. They've broken a few patterns tonight, and that time Chris Woods made no effort to go after the football, and Connie's a little hot. He said, I'm not going to stay back there and get the heck beaten out of me if you guys aren't going to work too.
So it's 2nd and 10, Toronto in the shotgun. Again, he had to make a one-handed catch to the passing center. The pass is intercepted by Fran McDermott. There is a penalty marker on the field, however. McDermott has brought it all the way back to the Toronto 38-yard line.
Holding, 65, decline, touchdown.
Holding against Dan Peshnick has been declined. The Saskatchewan Roughriders, trailing by 4, have the ball.
Well, there's Darrell Smith. He gets by Fran McDermott. Initially, zone coverage, they got too many guys in one area. Fran McDermott sloughs back off and makes the play. Picks up his first interception of 1986. And what a big play this may turn out to be.
From St. Mary's University in California, Fran McDermott is only 5'10", but he's been here for 5 years. And after that interception, we're going to see what Saskatchewan can do. Trailing by 4, we'll be back in a moment.
This union concert was brought to you by the Carpenters Local 1325. A union job is a job well done.
At Kingsway Toyota, we sell Toyota pickup trucks to a lot of people, and for a lot of good reasons.
Ich will ein robustes Fahrzeug für raues Gelände, und Kingsway Toyotas Vierradantrieb ist meine Wahl. Мій Toyota Truck є найліпший зі всіх троків, що я мав на фармі. Він є дуже великий і моцний, та як я.
偉大又好使 ，Toyota 你係得嘅。
Oh, what's the feeling?
Head to Kingsway Toyota, 109th Street in Kingsway. Grab hold and take off.
We've got 9 minutes left to play in the fourth quarter. First down, Saskatchewan. The ball is at the Toronto 38, and the Roughriders trail by 4. As Quarles puts it up, and Ray Elgard could not make the catch. That's surprising. It appeared to hit him right in the hand.
Should have had it. I mean, you can't. There's no other way to tell it. He dropped it. Boy, he doesn't do that too often. He runs a great pattern here. It takes, I believe it was Darrell Wilson. Well, no, he goes by into zone coverage again. Jerry Nash will pick him up in behind, but boy, he should have had that. Can't throw it any better.
I remember him in a game in Toronto last year. He must have caught about 15 passes, everyone diving. And this one was very nearly picked off by Don Moen, again looking for Ray Elgard. I'll tell you, Moen got back in that drop zone in a hurry, didn't he?
He's really had himself a good game. Made some great tackles on punt coverage tonight, made some good hits, and he should have had an interception there himself.
But the Toronto Argonauts did a good job defensively. It's now 3rd and 10 with the ball at their 38-yard line as Dave Ridgway will come in to try a 44-yard field goal. If he's good, the Riders will trail by only a point. And it is good. Oh, we've got ourselves a heck of a football game. It is Toronto 18, Saskatchewan 17. We'll be back in a moment.
You gonna trust that steak to just any charcoal? Get the Kingsford.
You use the best meat, you can use the best coal.
Kingsford's the best.
Can
Can a car dealership have too many cars? It's happened to us at Viewpoint Plymouth Chrysler. We ordered our cars before we opened our doors, and we're crammed, just jammed with inventory. The choices are great. Caravels and New Yorkers, Dodge, Ram, tough trucks, and lots of vans. We have to sell them now, not next year, not next month, but now. Our low prices will astonish you, but we have no choice, and you get a great choice of over 500 cars, trucks, and vans. So come on down. We're Viewpoint Plymouth Chrysler, located on Edmonton's Auto Row at 97th Street and 34th Avenue.
I think we could be very good for each other, Monsieur Mistral.
You want the painting so badly, I give it to you. But it will never belong to you.
Mistral's Daughter coming July 27th to 2-3 TV CFRN.
Well, I know that it's 17 minutes past 11 o'clock in Toronto, but I would suggest you keep the eyelids open for the finish of this one. Toronto 18, Saskatchewan 17. 8 minutes, 14 seconds left to play in the fourth quarter. Saskatchewan to kick off after the successful Dave Ridgway field goal. And this time he elects to go deep. Craig Ellis at his 15-yard line. And he hurdles a couple of tacklers. Eddie Lowe was first down as Ellis gets to the 35. It was a 60-yard kickoff by Dave Ridgway, a 20-yard return. And now it's going to be incumbent upon that Toronto offense to get a move on again, because Saskatchewan is within a point. Well, to me, the surprise of the entire football game is that Conrad Holloway is still able to play.
Yeah, okay.
Well, down he goes that time. A lot of people were there. Nick Hebler, number 99, was all over him. So too was Rick Roltz, number 63.
Well, Nick Hebler leads the Roughriders with 3 sacks so far, 1986, and looks like he gets his 4th right there. A little help from Rick Roltz, as Pat mentioned, but picking up where they left off last week.
So the loss is a yard. It's second down, 11 to go at the Toronto 35. Holloway fires. Oh, I'm going high in the air to make the catch is Kirtland Thomas, number 72. What a super catch by Kirtland Thomas, a rookie from the University of Missouri at Columbia, picks up 28 yards.
That was a good catch, good throw. He runs a post pattern, and Conrad Holloway really stepped up nicely. I think that shotgun formation is really helping him because it's a little easier on his knee. He doesn't have to go back and set up as quickly, and he gets a better view of the entire secondary.
6 minutes, 35 seconds left to play in the ball game. The handoff goes to number 37, Warren Hudson, and where he picked up 27 yards his first time, this time he's fortunate if he got a yard. I guess you can't expect a fella to have a 27-yard average.
Nope. Defense plays tough on the run. Fran McDermott up there to help out Gary Moulton from the middle linebacking spot as well.
So it's second down, 9 yards to go, and again Holloway is in the shotgun. And he's going deep, looking for Darrell Smith, but it's batted away. A fine defensive play by Fran McDermott. McDermott, who made an interception the last time that Toronto had the football, was step for step with the intended receiver and batted it away.
Yeah, he really was. 5th year out of St. Mary's in California, already with an interception tonight. And, well, you can't cover a guy any better than that. That's textbook.
Clock is running with 5 minutes and 45 seconds left to play in the fourth quarter. Hank Olisic, who has been outstanding tonight, back in punt formation for Toronto. This one goes into the end zone, and it'll go for a single point. Well, the Argo lead is now 2 points after that 62-yard boot by Olisic. He doesn't look particularly pleased.
You know,
so
that's a great kick.
Trying to angle it.
Yeah, 62 yards is a beauty, but Hank kind of wanted that one to go out of bounds because it's going to come out to the 35, and a single point really means nothing.
The Toronto Argonauts and the Edmonton Eskimos next Friday night here on CTV. 9:30 Eastern Daylight Time.
Frank Grigney will be back from covering the golf assignment in Toronto at the Board of Trade. He'll be out there. Dale Isaac, of course, Al McCann.
The screen pass goes to David Conrad, but it was smelled out very neatly by the Argos. Number 64, Brad Foytik, and Don Moan. Moan's had himself a terrific football game.
Yeah, he really has, you know. He's one of those guys that's kind of inconspicuous on that defense, and he's always there, makes a great play. You never see him make a bad play, and I think that's how you measure him.
The pickup was just 4 yards, so it's 2nd and 6. Can't tell you how impressed I've been with Bernard Quarles' play tonight. And again, the pass is complete to Michael Illarns with the tackle made by Carl Braisley. But it is good for a Saskatchewan first down. You know, when Jack Soda had Quarles in Calgary, he really liked his throwing ability. He said he was green as grass. Well, obviously, he's learned something because his execution tonight has been great. Here's a look at Jocko. And Joe Powpow, number 6, standing beside him. Strangely enough, Quarles, who replaced Powpow, both of them are from the University of Hawaii. Quarles' pass, that time was very nearly picked off by Marcellus Green. So to bring up a 2nd and 10, Saskatchewan from their 45-yard line with 4 minutes and 3 seconds left to play. Isn't that a turnaround for Toronto, though? 10 first downs in this second half, only 6 for Saskatchewan. But you saw the dominance of the Roughriders in that first half. It's 2nd and 10. Saskatchewan trailing by 2 points, 19 to 17. Bernard Quarles is sacked. What pressure by David Marshall, the blitzing middle linebacker. A big play at a big moment in the football game. Let's watch the middle linebacker, 73.
There he comes, David Marshall, and Mike Anderson, the center, just got his feet tangled up and couldn't handle the blitz coming, and he does an excellent job to get Bernard Quarles.
The loss was 7 yards, so it's 3rd and 17 with 3.5 minutes left to play in the 4th quarter. And so Jerry McGrath, who's had a good night punting the football, is back in. The Argos got through and blocked it. Dennis Clay makes the recovery, and Toronto will have possession inside the Saskatchewan 20-yard line.
Well, there's no question, Pat, Jerry McGrath was extremely slow getting that football off. It wasn't really that bad a snap, but watch the pressure coming up the middle from the Argonauts. Going to get a look and see who blocked it. There goes 15, Cliff Hewitt. I'm sure he's the one that gets the hands on it. Sure it is, but Jerry McGrath really slow. Then it's Dennis Clay, 14. He picks it up, and whoa, what a great scoring position the Argos are in now.
And what a tough pass for the Saskatchewan defense. Toronto has the football at the Saskatchewan 16-yard line. First down, Argonauts. Paul Pearson inside the 5. Touchdown, Argonauts, his 2nd of the night. Paul Pearson may have iced this one for Toronto. I don't mind telling you, I'm surprised at the Argos' offensive performance.
Well, Paul Pearson's 2nd touchdown of the night. Nothing fancy. You get man-to-man coverage. That's a long way to go for the middle safety, Glenn Suter. He just can't get out there. Look at the effort Pearson makes to dive and get that ball into the end zone. They get the break, the block punt, and Holloway takes advantage on the first play.
Chomick, like every other field goal kicker in the CFL, hasn't missed this year, and he doesn't miss right now. And so with 2 minutes and 51 seconds left to play in the 4th quarter, the score now, Toronto 26, Saskatchewan 17. We'll be back with the Argos kickoff in a moment.
A great name in beer should be the start of a truly great tasting light beer. Now it's here. New OV Light. A great taste in beer comes to light. Introducing an incredible advantage. advance in Gillette shaving smoothness. New Atra Plus. The Plus is this unique white strip that releases lubricants as you shave. You never felt anything smoother. New Atra Plus by Gillette, the essence of shaving.
Following tonight's telecast, the Carling O'Keefe Sports defensive game star will receive a Royal Canadian Mint 1-ounce solid gold coin presented by Tilley, Canadian manufacturers of fine leather goods. At Tilley, they bring together quality and creativity in all their products for all your needs. From their line of personal leather goods through to their travel wear.
How much do the Toronto Argonauts miss Conrad Holloway when he's not in there? Well, tonight he is. He's completed 19 of 30 passes for 229 yards, 3 of them touchdowns, and the Argos are out in front of the Saskatchewan Roughriders 26-17 with just 2:51 left to play in the game. Argos on the verge of winning their 5th in a row here at Taylor Field.
Really has been a gritty, gutsy performance, hasn't it? You know, here's a guy that, I mean, you look at him and he just wants to win any way he can, and I just love that burning desire. It's nice to see.
Let's see now what Saskatchewan can do with 2:51 left on the clock. Ellis, high and deep. Michael Arms has very little room. He gets over the 20 to about the 23. A 70-yard kickoff by Hank Ellis, who has just been outstanding in his role tonight for Toronto, and only an 18-yard return. Let me just mention something here, Leaf, because this is a big occasion for our friends down at CITL TV, which is our affiliate in the Lloydminster, Alberta, Saskatchewan area. They're celebrating their 10th anniversary. They went on the air late in July of 1976. We want to say hello to all the folks in Lloydminster and congratulations to CITL TV. First down, Saskatchewan from their 23-yard line. Quarles pass, no good. Over the head of Ray Algard.
Well, Bernard's had the great statistics tonight, but they're really going to be meaningless unless he can get something going. 2:41 remaining in the game, and you know, it's too bad. He's had a great night, but unless he can take the team down and get some points quickly, it means nothing.
And
except that he gets to start next week, maybe.
Yeah, right. They have but one touchdown, and that came early in the first quarter. They've moved the ball all over the field, but not into the end zone. And Quarles will go down in the arms of Rodney Harding, back at his 17-yard line.
Well, it's as simple as this in the second half, and the fans are starting to make an exit. They know the game's kind of out of reach now, but Rodney Harding comes up with his third sack. Simple as this. The offense has played well, and the defense has really played inspired football at critical times. The block punt, now a sack when it's critical, and oh yeah, you have to have the big plays to win the ball game.
Rodney Harding from Oklahoma State has one of 4 Toronto sacks tonight. And this one forces Jerry McGrath back inside his 5-yard line to punt. A penalty marker is down as Kirtland Thomas takes the punt return and just dives his way out to the 53-yard line. Let's see what the marker indicates now. It's a procedure penalty against Toronto. I would think the Argos will just leave the ball right where it is. Excuse me, procedure penalty against Saskatchewan. It's up to Toronto whether or not they want them to kick over again, or do they want to have the ball just about at midfield.
Well, I think they might make them kick over again. It takes a little more time off the clock, and better make sure they handle it, though.
Yeah, I think that too. Now that I see them walking back, I'm surprised kind of that they're doing this, because you have the ball in good field position and you have the football.
There you go, procedure number 66. They're down.
Well, it could only be that they want to take more time off the clock with an extra play.
All of this happens with 2 minutes and 11 seconds left to play in the fourth quarter. Jack Goda, George Brancato, they thought they had things well in hand. It was 11-1 at one stage for their Saskatchewan Roughriders, and then Conrad Holloway and his offense started to come back. 9 penalties tonight for Saskatchewan, only 2 for the Argos. Clock will start when the ball is snapped. Kirtland Thomas with the ball at the 50-yard line. And it was a good decision, obviously, by the Argos, because now they have it at the 42-yard line of Saskatchewan. So that's a pickup of 17 yards.
Took 11 seconds.
Down to 2 minutes exactly. And Toronto comfortably in front by 9 points, 26-17. Would like to run some time off the clock. Well, it's been a fast game because they have run a lot. They've run the ball a lot tonight. As a result, we've only played 2.5 hours. This is Craig Ellis. Rick Goltz was there to bring him down. Very little gain, maybe a yard.
Well, it won't be nothing fancy here. I'm sure if Conrad decides to throw the ball on second down, it'll be something where his guy's either going to catch it or nobody's going to catch it.
Argos have rushed the ball 11 times tonight for just 59 yards. But the clock is moving right now with 1:45 left to play in the fourth quarter, and the Argos on the verge of moving into sole possession of first place in the Eastern Conference. Holloway throws, it's incomplete.
A little risky out there, throwing to the sideline with Eddie Ray Walker, number 2, breathing down on Craig Ellis. No harm, ball went incomplete. Now Lance Chomick is in the game. It's going to be a long shot for him, 48 yards.
Yep. Ball will be held by Jeff Jocelyn, making his first appearance in a pro football game from Carson-Newman University in Tennessee. And Chomick, for the first time this season, is wide. Fran McDermott concedes the single point with 1:27 left. Well, he had a terrific run at it. He had 13 straight in 1986, 1 from 1985. He had 14 in a row going for him before finally Lance Chomick misses from 48 yards.
Well, he hit it pretty well. He had the distance, just folded a little bit.
So the Argo lead is now 10 points.
University of Toronto supplied a couple of pretty good kickers in the CFL. Dean Dorsey in Ottawa, who had the incredible record last year, and now Lance Chomick performing his duties for the Argonauts.
Quarles had a little bit of time initially, couldn't find anybody open, then tried to scramble, and when he did, he finally ran into the hands of Willie Pless.
Well, coming into this game tonight, the Toronto Argonauts were last in team defense in the CFL, you know, but they've tightened up at crucial times tonight, played pretty well. They've given up a lot of yardage, but they really haven't given up a big play.
Quarles' pass is caught for a first down. Michael Alarms in front of Carl Brazeley with 1:11 showing on the clock. 13 yards to pick up. Saskatchewan with possession now at their own 52-yard line. Derek Zeno tried to come back to the football, but there was no chance.
Well, that was his fault. Bernard falls through it in the right spot. When you're running a hook, you can't drift inside too far. You get in with all the heavy traffic, and Quarles threw it to the right spot. Zeno didn't make the right adjustment.
So it stops the clock with 1:03. And Zeno said, I don't feel like running to the huddle, so he just stays out here. Everybody else huddled. He stayed out. And it's 2nd and 10 Saskatchewan. Quarles fires, and this time Zeno doesn't make the catch. It would have been a first down.
Same thing again, though. He drifts too far to the inside. Quarles threw it to the right spot, and he had to come back and make what should have been a routine catch look like a tough catch. Well, you can't fault the quarterback there. He put it to the right spot. See the linebacker underneath there? You've got to throw it outside him.
I just saw George Brancato motioning to Zeno as though saying, get into the huddle with everybody else. But he wouldn't bother, so it's 3rd and 10 now. This is the last gasp for Saskatchewan. The pass is absolutely perfect. Tony Dennis makes the reception. He has the first down, except there is a penalty marker on the play.
Flag on play.
That's a good throw by Bernard Quarles. And Tony Dennis has really impressed me tonight. He's made some great catches. He gets in that zone and sits there, but unfortunately, this one is going to be called back and makes Saskatchewan's task even tougher now. They picked up the third down gamble, but now they're going to have to do it all over again.
An ineligible receiver, which tells you that Dennis must have lined up, or somebody lined up outside of him.
88. They're down.
Somebody lined up outside of him. You know who I suspect it was? Our friend number 8, Derek Tito.
Yeah, he still hasn't made it back into the huddle. He's trying to figure out what the play is. Well, 3rd and 20. This is a tough one here.
Well, he didn't see Rodney Harding, who just hammered him from behind at the 48-yard line. And that's going to do it with 43 seconds left. The Toronto Argonauts are going to win their 3rd game of the season. And you'd think it was a fire drill going on, the way the people are up and out of the seats here at Taylor Field.
You know what's too bad here in Regina, though, is that offensively they had a great performance and a pleasing performance for the fans. But the bottom line will be they didn't win. The fans will go home unhappy.
And yet, you know, Toronto fans should be excited about the performance of the Argos tonight.
It's a great second-half performance.
It really has been.
The offensive line did a pretty darn good job protecting for Holloway the best they could. And let's face it, it's a makeshift offensive line. Tony Antunovic's out. Kelvin Prinster's out. I mean, you can't replace those guys at the last minute.
Craig Ellis picked up 5 yards, so make it 2nd and 5. Well, I'm impressed by both offenses tonight. Saskatchewan moved the ball well, didn't get it into the end zone. The Argos didn't move it as well, but they did what they're supposed to do. They scored touchdowns, 3 of them, 2 by Paul Pearson. And Toronto now, of course, just content to run the football because the moment that referee Bill McDonald moves away from the ball, he blows his whistle and time will begin. And this will be the final play of this football game, barring a penalty. Argos don't need any more points. They have 27 of them. Saskatchewan comes up 10 short. Conrad Holloway knows that if he snaps it when the clock gets to 0, he can just go down on one knee, and that's it. That's what he does. The Toronto Argonauts, who trailed Saskatchewan by 7 points at the end of the second quarter, have really come back and done so impressively to knock out the Saskatchewan Roughriders 27-17, and I would think this has to be one of the most satisfying victories for Bob O'Billovich. Last week in Toronto, Saskatchewan really played a physical game, and they beat the Argos by 7 points. Toronto comes back into Taylor Field, a place where they have had some success, to be sure. They really play well in the second half. They get their offensive act together, and they end up beating Saskatchewan by 10 points, 27-17. A great victory for the Argonauts, and we're going to have a word with Bob O'Billovich as he walks over now to join our Al McCann. And Al, I would be surprised if Obi didn't tell you that this is the most satisfying win of the year. Take it away.
Okay, Pat, I've got Obi with me now. Coach, first off, as Pat said, and I think he's right, he said this has to be the most satisfying win of the year, the way it came and with such a shaky start.
Well, you know, we've been struggling all year trying to get our offense clicking, and we just feel there's things there, but it's just been a matter of getting the execution. And I thought the second half our guys came out really well, and our coaches did a good job of pointing out the things that had to be done better, and the players went on and just played with more intensity. I thought we were a little flat the first half.
Coach, you got off to you got 18 nicks. Freddie Dunbar told me last game, and then Prunster goes down sick before the game. That's not a good omen.
Well, I'm telling you, it's been a crazy year. I was really proud of our football team, the way the adversity we had going into the game. We were short people to start with, and then Kelvin comes up sick. That's what messed us up on the field goal, Coach. Thought he had to be in there, and he didn't have to be. And well, I'll tell you, it doesn't get any easier.
Bob, did the fact that Jack Goda changed to Bernard Quarles from Smith, did that do anything to your plans?
No, they cheated. They told us before the game it was going to definitely be Smith in the press conference and so on. I think the commissioner better check that out.
I don't know what you and your coaches told your players at halftime, but it was a total changeover in the second half.
Oh, I had to go a little bit crazy at halftime to get our guys a little more excited about playing, and I think they responded well, and I was pleased. Anytime you can win away from home, it's always a real plus, and this was a big game for us because it meant first place in the East.
That's right, and you had Conridge back again. That's always a plus. I worried when he went down. I thought maybe he'd re-injure that knee, but he came back tough.
He did, and what happened is the guy that rolled over, I think, kind of pulled it, so it made it, it just hurt it a little bit. But the brace is going to keep it from getting hurt any further. It's just a matter if he takes a bunch of shots on it. And I thought he did a good job of hanging in there. And that experience at that position, the average person doesn't realize just how important that is to a football team to have that kind of experience at quarterback.
You know, will be another guy who probably didn't get much recognition. Ellis. He kept you in the ball game.
Hank's been doing a super job. Our special teams have been great all year, and our coaches are doing a heck of a job in that area. The guys are hustling. I haven't seen anybody in the league playing any better than our guys on special teams right now, and we've been steady there. I hope we keep doing that because Hank's having a heck of a year, and so is Lance Chomick, and we keep working at it. We can keep getting better.
Now you're on a short week, Obi. You haven't got a lot of time to get ready for an undefeated Eskimo team.
Oh, they're tough, and Coach Parker and his staff's doing a heck of a job. And the film we've watched on them, they're impressive, and we'll have to play extremely well to beat them because right now they're playing very well.
Congratulations, Bob. Big win.
Thank you very much.
We'll be back with the players of the game. This is the CFL on CTV.
You gonna trust that steak to just any charcoal? Get the Kingsford.
You use the best meat, you can use the best coal. Kingsford's the best.
A police car's transmission takes a brutal beating. So when transmissions fail, they've got to be rebuilt to perform like new. That's why so many police departments go to AMCO. Police can't take unnecessary risks. Should you, go where you know it's better than fixed. It's AMCO.
Now, during AMCO's 13th anniversary event, enjoy big savings on all inspection and repair services. Stop by for a free multi-check. It could save you from a large repair bill down the road.
So many police departments go to AMCO. Police can't take unnecessary risks. Should you, go where you know it's better than fixed. It's AMCO.
Now, during AMCO's 13th anniversary event, enjoy big savings on all inspection and repair services. Stop by for a free multi-check. It could save you from a large repair bill down the road.
I think we could be very good for each other, Monsieur Mistral.
You want the painting so badly, I give it to you. But it will never belong to you.
Mistral's Daughter coming July 27th to 2-3 TV CFRN.
Well, we have the stars of the football game, and of course, both from the double blue of the Toronto Argonauts. The offensive star, a guy we talked to at the top of the show, Conridge Holloway. Conridge, congratulations. I know you must have been a little shaken up mentally the way that game started. Saskatchewan came out like gangbusters.
Well, it started out bad, but I think we held in there and stuck together. I think the way it started off, you could think, oh no, here we go again. But I think our team at halftime just got everything going, and we executed better in the second half.
Well, you certainly did, and I'll tell you another thing. That knee brace of yours got the acid test. Because you went down, and I was worried because we could see how you got hit right on the brace.
Yeah, it was an unfortunate situation. I talked to Goatsy after the game, and he said, you know, he just got cut and rolled me up. And I looked at him right now, and I said, you know, if it wasn't for my two good luck pieces in the booth up there, Pat and the old Spy and Pat there, you know, I think they're my good luck pieces, and I hope to see them next week, too.
Conridge, what did you guys do different? Did you make a little game plan change at halftime?
Well, what we did basically was take advantage of their zone play. They were trying to play a zone, and they were leaving holes in the zone. So we were taking advantage of it, getting the ball away quickly instead of trying to drop back and block them all the time. And then when we did that, we forced them into some blitz situations. And when we scored, we got them in blitz situations, and that's what we wanted to do.
I tell you, I want to congratulate you on that great pass to Pearson for the touchdown. Your baseball playing days came back great because the snap took one bounce. You fielded like a shortstop.
A little short hop, but hey, Paul Pearson had a heck of a game tonight, and he looked at me walking off the field. I guess I'm going to have to saw the coin in half and give him the hat.
Well, it's nice to see you back because you got through the whole game. You're standing here and looking pretty healthy, and you're in first place, too.
It's nice to be back, and thank you very much.
Tell you haven't got much time, though. You've got a very short week to get ready for Edmonton.
That's true. We'll fly back tomorrow morning and practice tomorrow afternoon, so it is a short week.
Don Rich, congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Let's go over the defensive side of the ball to linebacker Don Moen. Don, congratulations. You had a great game. I thought you played the run well, you played the pass well, and you guys really got it going in the second half.
Yeah, well, I thought we started off a little slow, and I'm just really happy to get the win, and we'll have to see the films to see how we played.
Did they surprise you with all their running in the early going?
Not at all. They ran the ball pretty well against us late in the game last week. We expected that, and we had to shut it down, and we came out in the second half fired up, and I think we did a fairly decent job in the second half.
In the second half, I thought you got a lot of pressure on Quarles.
Well, that was the key. We had to. We were giving him way too much time, and he was completing a lot of stuff. He was scrambling around in the first half, and you just can't do that with a guy of his caliber.
I'll tell you, your football club is getting better every game out. You can just see them cohesing and coming together.
That's the key. I mean, this was the first night for our offense to really come together like they did for us in the second half, and that was really nice to see.
You know, this was a football game that you go coming into that you kind of come into it different because you just played these guys 1 week ago. So you think you know what they're going to do. Did they surprise you in any way?
Well, they came out and they stuck it to us pretty good in the first half, and you know, we just had to tighten up our buckles in the second half and go out there and stick it to them.
Don, I know you got to get back to the hotel. You guys are flying out early in the morning, practicing, getting ready for another week in Edmonton, and a short week it is too. Congratulations, great game.
Thanks. Hi, Joe, back in Toronto.
Okay, Don. Pat, take it away.
Well, thank you, Al. There you have them, the Carling O'Keefe Sports Offensive and Defensive Game Stars, as selected by our broadcast crew. From Toronto, Conrad Holloway, their quarterback, is the offensive star. And from the Argos, linebacker Don Moen, the defensive star. Each of tonight's outstanding players will receive a Royal Canadian Mint 1 ounce solid gold coin. Presented by Nikon. For once-in-a-lifetime shots, the Nikon Touch, the simplest Nikon 35mm ever. Get the Nikon One Touch. And by Tilly, bringing together quality and creativity in all their products, from their line of personal leather goods through to their travel wear. Tilly, Canadian manufacturer of fine leather goods. This is the CFL on CTV.
You know, people are always making up stories about big guys like me. Like I change flat tires by lifting up my car, or eat 2 steaks and a dozen eggs for breakfast. Come on. But there is one thing I'm very big on, Miller Lite. Light tastes great. And what's important, it tastes less filling than regular beer. But a dozen eggs? I wouldn't have room for lunch.
Light beer from Miller. Everything you always wanted in a beer, and less.
And hey, I've never lifted a car. I drive a truck.
I want a nice light snack right now. Oh, hi there. I gotta go. Oh, I can't wait. Come on, we're getting closer. Whoa, excuse me, pardon me, getting closer. Hi guys, nice hats down here. Whoa, oh, it's gonna be good. Oh, pardon me, I think I see what I want. Gotcha.
If you want a nice light snack, go get it.
Well, the Toronto Argonauts win at 27-17 over the Saskatchewan Roughriders, a victory that is so important to them. And yet you look at the offensive statistics, and you notice that Saskatchewan had a big afternoon, 455 yards to only 299 for the Toronto Argonauts. Now, Leaf, it's hard to believe that Toronto wins it by 10 points.
Well, it really is. Saskatchewan got all the turnovers. But Conrad Holloway's performance in the second half really was a gutsy, gritty one. Of course, he's our Carling O'Keefe game star, and I think a perfect choice. You know, people might say, well, Bernard Quarles had a great game too, but he didn't win, and so he doesn't get it. Conrad Holloway hurt the knee and came back in, and I thought it was just an outstanding performance by them. And Don Moen and the defensive crew, they made the big plays when they had to.
Well, you know, we said at the start of the ball game that it really was going to be tough for the Toronto Argonauts because they had made so many changes in their offensive line. But isn't it always a fact, though, when you expect something to crumble, that's when they play the best. You know, we were talking during the football game about how when they used to play double headers, 2 games in 3 days, the team that you expected to be blown out the second time around used to come forward and have a big performance. That happened tonight with Toronto's offensive line, I think.
Yeah, it really did. You know, in the old days, as you mentioned, they had to do patchwork really quickly, and the Argonauts did that on the offensive line. This was one of the biggest plays they had in the second half because it got them really on track. It was a great catch and a touchdown, his first of the game by Paul Pearson. I think the real game breaker, though, turned out to be this block punt by Cliff Hewitt. He sneaks right up the middle. He had a great play on the special teams earlier on a kickoff coverage. He comes in, makes the block. Dennis Clay will recover it and take it down and get them in range for a touchdown. But really, I think that's the one play really in the second half that broke it wide open.
You know, we sit here as observers, and it's when you see as many football games in the course of a year as we do, it's very easy to become attached to certain players. I mean, we mentioned throughout the course of the game that Conrad Holloway is a good personal friend. He played so well. Paul Pearson's another good friend. And, boy, he and Conrad have to be complimented for their performance.
Well, they really do. You know, Paul Pearson hadn't touched the football in the entire first half, but here in the fourth quarter, he comes up with a couple of back-to-back touchdowns. What a great effort just to get in the end zone, diving effort in there. And, you know, those are the kind of guys you expect to make those plays. They're veterans. Pearson's been around for 8 years. Conrad, 11 years from Tennessee. You know, those are the kind of guys you count on.
Well, let me ask you about Paul Pearson. You were an outstanding receiver yourself in the CFL. What makes Paul Pearson so outstanding? He always seems to come up with the clutch catch in any Toronto drive.
Well, I think his concentration is just that much better than some of the other guys, you know, and Conrad knows that. Obviously, he went to him on the crucial plays. He knows that they're counting on him. He doesn't want to let anybody down, and, you know, some guys have it, some don't, and Paul Pearson's one of the guys that you can always count on.
I noticed that Obi told Al McCann that he had really laid it into them in the halftime intermission, and I guess it certainly worked because the Argos, as you see, are all alone on top of the Eastern Conference standings, 2 points ahead of the Ottawa Roughriders, but look how tight it is. Montreal and Hamilton have 2 points apiece, so from the top to the bottom, just 4 points separating these clubs, and it's equally tight in the Western Division. Edmonton, the only undefeated team in Canada, they've got 8 points, so too do the BC Lions, but if you'll note, BC has played that extra game. Winnipeg, Saskatchewan, and Calgary all tied with 4 points. So there's a long way to go, but it's going to be a good finish, too.
And, you know, Calgary Stampeders, of course, lost to Winnipeg the other night. That was a heartbreaker. So it's really a tight race in the West as well.
Well, I really like the way the Stampeders have come back under Bob Vespasiani. Quarterback Rick Johnson has done such an outstanding job. The Toronto Argonauts tonight beat the Saskatchewan Roughriders 27-17, and we'll be back after this time up.
Important, knowing what's just happened in the world of news, knowing what's happening in sports, what kind of weather they can expect, having heard from some of the decision makers in the country, in their community, and around the world.
Accuracy, precision, confidence, all part of what it takes to be a champion golfer. CTV presents one of the great fields of women golfers in the 1986 Du Maurier Classic from the Metropolitan Toronto Country Club. The third and final rounds of this prestigious LPGA event are live on CTV tomorrow. Watch all the top LPGA pros tee off for the Du Maurier Trophy. The Du Maurier Classic, live on CTV.
Wow. 27-17, the Saskatchewan Roughriders winning on this beautiful Saturday night in Regina. And a kind of a downer, I guess, for Saskatchewan fans who are here about 19,000 strong. And they enjoyed themselves, an entertaining football game. But the bottom line is their home team lost, and that can't help the overall picture. But on the other side of the coin, a great night for the Toronto Argonauts. Speaking of fine weather, we hope we have good weather tomorrow at the Board of Trade Golf Course in Toronto because good CTV action coming up there. The final round of the Du Maurier Classic, one of the majors on the ladies' PGA Tour. And Dick Irvin is over there along with Frank Rigney and Sandra Post and Dan Matheson to bring you all the action starting at 4 o'clock Toronto time. I'm looking forward to watching that and also to being in Edmonton next Friday to see the Argonauts again against the Eskimos, the undefeated team from the West and the #1 team from the East. It should be a perfect Friday night football game on CTV. Pat?
Well, Conrad Holloway was mentioning that Leaf and I have been his good luck charms. We're not going to be with him in Edmonton, but Frank will be there, Dale Isaac will be there, and of course, Al McCann will be there too. So we'll see what happens. They've got their work cut out for them because the Eskimos have really been outstanding. I mean, Matt Dunnigan's off to another sensational year.
Yeah, he's a great player. Brian Kelly's healthy. They all look good, and they've had 2 weeks to prepare for the Argonauts. They're home, they're healthy, and you know, Conrad Holloway, those guys have got to patch up. They had a big win tonight that should give them a good week of practice. They go home on an up note, so you never know what could happen.
Well, I don't think anybody is going to go 18-0 this year, and I would think that Edmonton is going to lose a football game somewhere along the line. I'm not for a moment suggesting that it's going to be this coming week, but I know this much. Toronto's going to give it a heck of a shot.
Well, they will. And, you know, historically, I said earlier in the game, Toronto seems to have great offensive performances up in Edmonton. So I'm sure they'll be ready. Bob Abilovich, he's got a good staff. Ellis Rainsberger, Dennis Meyer and company. They're going to get them ready.
Let me ask you this. One final question pertaining to tonight's ball game. I was a little bit surprised that Saskatchewan didn't really blitz Conrad Holloway right out of there.
Well, you know, it's funny. We mentioned that they were going to throw everything but the kitchen sink at him. And then, you know what often happens? They say, well, let's kind of confuse him and just sit back in his own coverage. They're going to put in a whole package, offensive package, that says we've got to get the ball to the receivers quickly. And then when they sit back, it can be confusing. Maybe in the first half, that's what happened. They made the adjustments, and they've made the right adjustments.
And, of course, Toronto made an adjustment, too. They went to a shotgun offense, and they win the football game. 27-17. For everybody here at Taylor Field in Regina, I'm Pat Marsden. With
Actually, the weather doesn't look good tonight for the Folk Festival, but there's enough music going on there to attract almost anybody this weekend.
Get
Should
your
be good.
umbrella and enjoy the music.
Valdi is there tonight, as a matter of fact.
Thanks, Bob. Have a good weekend.